liable of sexually abusing
I
a woman?
did. I
Would
did.
you?
That's the answer.
Would you still support someone
The answer is
knowingly?
I did,
No,
Parker. I
I'm
voted
asking.
for him proudly, and I've got a picture of
So
the
okay,
I
so
voted.
would you vote for him if he were held civilly liable of sexually abusing a child?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Hopefully not.
You wouldn't vote for him?
That's what I just said. Yes.
You would?
What? No, I would not vote, dude. You
Okay, so
can't
then
do
what
that.
is the difference between the victim being an adult and the victim being a child? That means in one scenario you'd vote for him, but not in the other.
The point is, I voted for him. I already voted for him, Parker, and I told you that. That's why I'm here. That's why we're having this conversation.
Yeah, but I want an answer to this question. We're talking about if you could go back in time, would you vote for Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? So given the information that I'm providing you, you should be able to change your mind here. So again, the point, let me address it again. You said that Donald Trump, you wouldn't support him if he were held civilly liable of sexually abusing a child, but you would support him if he were held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman. What is the relevant difference between the two scenarios that gets you to support him in one scenario but not the other?
Parker, this is a gotcha question.
It is, and I got you.
God, you're a funny guy. Well, unfortunately, like I said, I don't agree with that. I think the whole, like I said, the grave thing, it's a made up term to make it sound worse than it is. It is a treacherous thing and it should have never happened.
Don't even say that it's a made up term specifically to make it seem worse. I said sexual abuse, by the way, and still we already demonstrated that it was rape. So answer the question. What is the relevant difference between the victim being a child and the victim being an adult that means you support him in one scenario for president but not in the other?
No, and you can't put that sticker there too, dude. Come on. It's you literally just pulled up a gotcha question that you keep in your back pocket. You were like, I got one more question for you, just so you could, get a tally on me. And I already said I voted for him. There's nothing like it happened after.
Answer the question. So again, answer the question. So what is the difference
You're not
between the victim
gonna
being what's the difference between the victim being an adult and the victim being a child? That means in one scenario you support him but not in the other.
You're trying to wait, and this is so like I don't want to say rude. I don't think that's the right word, but it's so unfortunate that you put people in this scenario to like quote unquote either agree with a rapist or go against it because
it's maybe like you did that yourself by voting for him. It's not me that did this. It's you that did this.
No. I voted for him because my gas is cheaper, Parker. Yes. Because my job pays me more. Because my grocery prices are going down. That's why I voted for him.
Right, but I just want to let you know, your grocery prices aren't going down. Your job isn't paying you more. Real median wage growth has gone down since Trump got in office. Real GDP growth has gone down since Trump got in office. Jobs reports have been so horrible that Donald Trump fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics because he said it was politically biased. And then the person that came in that he appointed also indicated the very same information, 22,000, which is 7 times less than what we expected last year under the Biden-Harris administration in terms of job growth per month. We've seen unemployment increase. We've seen inflation go up since Liberation Day by 0.4% in terms of inflation, and it's going to continue to rise even more. So I would love to see your response to this because you are clearly not able to engage, and you just got cooked, buddy.
If you give me 30 seconds here, I'm about to. So all the statistics that you just mentioned were minuscule in changes. Yes,
and by the way, you brought up all of those things to not answer the question about the sexual. You did all that to not answer the question about the sexual abuse. So once you bring up this point and once you answer this, I'm going to bring you right back to that very point.
Okay. All the statistics that you just mentioned were so minuscule. And yes, they weren't in the positive direction, but you also know what the jobs report means and the unemployment data means. Interest rates are going down. The next probably 3 to 6 months, we're going to see interest rate cuts. You know what that means? Cheaper home prices, cheaper mortgages, more people are going to be able to buy homes. So there's a method to the madness. Now, I really got to go here because I got something to do.
By the way, we're not going to see interest. But that's a lie. We're not seeing interest rates cuts because we're actually seeing upward pressure on prices because of the tariffs. So the idea that we're going to see interest rates cuts is actually delusional and shows that you have no understanding of economics or finance. You said you work in finance? I have an economics degree. Tell me why they would decrease interest rates if it is the case that there's upward pressure on prices. Explain that one to me, buddy.
I have an economics degree.
Yeah, okay. I do. You clearly didn't listen in class, did you?
Yeah, I didn't have to take a class because I don't need one.
Yeah. You definitely do need one. That's why you can't answer these questions. By the way, explain to me how there would be interest rates cuts if there's upward pressure on prices due to tariffs.
Parker, when unemployment goes up, interest rates go down to incentivize businesses to spend more money.
That would be in the scenario in which we don't see upward pressure on prices. If we see upward pressure on prices and we see upward pressure on unemployment, that's actually a very, very fucking bad indicator. That's showing that there's indications of likely stagflation. Okay.
Okay, so
don't
we're
even
gonna come
get me.
back after.
Don't even get me. No, don't even do that because you use this in order to back away. What was the relevant difference? What was the relevant difference between the victim being an adult and the victim being a child? That means you support him in one scenario but not the other.
Okay. 1 second here. I'm doing some research. Don't mind me. Okay, so the next Fed meeting is in September 16th. Is September 16th, right? After that, and when we
You
see
can't answer
probably
the question, by the way.
when we see a quarter point basis cut, you're gonna be like, "Oh my God, that Devin guy."
Yeah, we'll talk
so
about that then.
great."
We'll talk about that then. You can go and check my live later on.
Did you get
Answer
that
this
last
question.
part?
Answer this question.
When
What
I
is the
said
difference?
sexy?
What is the difference between the victim being an adult and the victim being a child? That means in one scenario you'd support him but not the other.
The reason I love Donald Trump so much is because he gets the left torn up about the most.
He's so mad. He can't answer the question. You can't answer the
Right.
question, can you?
Like a Ukrainian girl.
Devin, you can't answer the question, can you, buddy? Take it. You need to take it. You know you lost, buddy. Take it. Take it. Come on.
You want to feed it to me?
I already did. You got cooked, buddy. You got cooked.
All right. You didn't even let me finish, dude. Come on. Just let me make my...
Once you answer my question, I'll let you.
Parker, I'm not answering that question, dude. I'm not.
I know you're not because you know you got fucking cooked.
You know
I'm not answering that question because it destroys my arguments.
I'm not doing it. Okay? All I want to do is make my final point and go and watch Vikings football, baby. That's what I want to do.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. Holy crepes. Another reason that
KJ, thank you for the $5. Nina with the $5. Libby with the $10. Thank you so much, Libby. Jen, thank you for the $2. Thank you so much. Annie with the $50 on YouTube Super Chat. Give me some W's for Annie in the comment section right now for the $20. Thank you so much. Blair with the $5. JOW, thank you so much for the $2 for Devin Zabeta. Alfredo, thank you so much for the $20 on Cash App. Thank you so much, Alfredo. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Give some W's for all the gifters in the comment section right now.
These 90-10 issues that Trump gets
W's
the Democrat
for all the gifters in the comment section right now. This guy is getting cooked on every point. He doesn't have a single response. Won't even answer.
Exactly.
Josh, thank you for the $2. Jen with the $2. Killer with the $2. Mutant with the $10. Feisty with the $5. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate the W's for them in the comment section right now.
You could have people blowing up in New York, and Trump would be like, "We got to send in the National Guard. We got to lower crime." And Democrats go, "People aren't blowing up. There is no crime."
By the way,
obviously there's crime, bro.
By the way, we would acknowledge reality. You're the one that won't answer my question because you know it debunks you. You're
no,
literally
because
the cult
it's a
member.
gotcha
You're the partisan
question,
guy.
Parker.
And
if you had something
by the way,
besides that, you would say something else, and that's your problem.
You know what's crazy? You try to say it's a gotcha question so you don't have to answer it. It being a gotcha question, it being the checkmate, does not mean it's a point that can't be used against you. This is like someone in chess being like, checkmate. Like, you can't do that. You can't checkmate me. That's not loud.
Okay.
You can't do that. I'm not playing. I'm not going to move anymore. You can't. No, you won't beat me. I'm not going to move my pieces anymore. You can't take my pieces if I don't move anymore. If I never play the game anymore. So I'll start a whole nother chess game with you. But we're not going to finish this chess game, okay? We are not finishing this chess game because I am not going to be checkmated. That is not happening. I'm not doing any moves. You see what I mean? That's you. That's literally you.
That's it. And when you admit
JOW, thank you for the $4. Thank you. John with the $5. Thank you.
All weight.
Dale, thank you for the $5 for Bears are going to cook the Vikings. You know what? W Bears. Eli, thank you for the $5. Thank you. Thank you for the Galaxy. Thank you. Jace, thank you. Okay, bro, you're getting kicked. You're a waste of my time. Genuinely, like, he knows that point destroys him. He knows that he lost, and he literally can't provide a response to it. Jeannie, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Thank you so much. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, everyone. For the 3.1 thousand people here on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, everyone. It should help get it out to more people. Josh, thank you for the $20 on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much, Josh. I really appreciate it. If you want to support me, as always, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. Link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat or in the pinned comment on my YouTube. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 18.
Do you support Donald Trump?
I do, but I have a quick question.
What's your birth year?
Like, Parker, you are...
Hold on.
Wait, what? Say again?
What's your birth year?
12/29/2006.
2006. Okay, for sure. Can I 1 second before you say anything here, because you're a Trump supporter, I want to hear your reaction to this. Just genuinely want to hear your reaction to this real quick.
Parker, I'm not here to argue with you, man. I'm trying to tell you that you're really smart, and I like that debate you had with Devin.
Oh, well, I appreciate you not here to
Actually,
debate.
no.
I am going to
Okay,
go to the
guys,
next
breaking
person
news.
because you aren't here to debate.
No,
but
no,
I
no.
appreciate you.
I have a question for you, though. I have a question for you, like real quick. So,
if you're not here to debate, I am going to go to the next person. I do apologize, but the contents of the page, or I mean, of the criteria on the screen does say that you have to be wanting to debate, ready to debate. Susan, thank you for the $10. Grateful with the $4.20. Thank you. I will absolutely. Let's get this next person on, and then I actually have a video, everyone, for everyone to watch. It's a new update with what happened with Epstein. So I actually have a new video for us to watch. Yo, how old are you?
28.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yeah.
What's your birth year?
96.
For sure, for sure. If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. Who would you vote for?
Trump.
Okay, for sure. So I actually have a video here for you to watch real quick. I wanna hear your thoughts on it, and tell me why you support Donald Trump, given that you've seen this video. So let's take a quick look real quick.
Oh, no way.
So 2
That
months
guy?
ago, the Wall Street Journal reported that Trump sent Epstein a letter for his 50th.
Sorry, I accidentally closed it.
Wait, that kind of is what the last
Including
guy
the
was saying. You can't use your sources of like this for anything.
Can I please finish? It's literally just Dean saying it. That's
Okay,
literally,
guys,
But
breaking
no,
news.
it's like
So
the
2
biggest
months
cornball in like the industry of what you guys are doing.
Dude, Dean's one of my best friends. Can you please
I
let me play the
understand.
clip?
I'm aware. Okay, good.
ago, the Wall Street Journal reported that Trump sent Epstein a letter for his 50th birthday, including a depiction of a naked woman in the statement, "May every new day be another wonderful secret." Now, this led to people in the Trump administration denying that the letter even existed. J.D. Vance, for instance, called it, quote unquote, complete and utter bullshit. But here's a breaking news
Sorry, I was just not centering it. Apologize.
part. Today, that letter was released by Congress. Look, here it is. This is a verified copy of the letter that was released today by a House subcommittee. This is a bombshell. Why would they lie? Why would they say this letter doesn't exist? But we're not done yet, because today, after Congress released this letter, the White House responded by saying that's not Trump's signature. And you can see why the White House is trying to paint that narrative. If we look at one of his signatures today, and then we compare it to the signature on the letter, they look different. But the thing is, they're lying, and I can prove it. If we compare the signature on the Epstein letter that the White House is saying is fake to other letters that he sent in the 90s, you will see that the signatures are identical. And it doesn't stop there. Here's a book that he signed in the 90s that's up for auction today. Look at that signature. Identical. Here's another book that he signed in 1997. Look at that. Identical. People need to know the truth. And if the White House isn't going to offer us true transparency, we're going to have to do it for them. So I need your help. Please spread the word.
Okay. Do you want to respond to that? Why do you still support Donald Trump, given that that's true?
I mean, there wasn't like a legitimate like criminal investigation on if that signature is the exact one. It looks similar.
Oh,
I know that.
Okay, but why? It looks very similar, identical to all of the ones that he did, particularly at that time period.
But that's not how you decipher if a signature is the same.
Okay, so you think it's a fake signature? You think it's not actually a message that he sent to Epstein? Is that your response?
I mean, it could be. I mean, based off that video that we just seen, that does not prove it.
No, but I'm just asking, like, do you think that at this point?
No, why would Trump have been calling before he had any power over the situation? Why would he have been calling for the Epstein files to be released? If
Well, no,
he
actually,
was just
he was
full
asked-
of things against him.
He was asked about it. Why is he not releasing it now then?
I have no idea. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not.
Do you want the
only
Epstein
his
files
own
to be
record.
released?
Yeah, I mean, if Epstein was truly like sex trafficking children, then absolutely.
What,
and
what
if
do you mean?
Trump's on
If he was, he was
Okay, well
convicted
then-
of it. And by the way, I just want to clarify in terms of this.
then yes.
In terms of this, the Epstein files. He said that if you want the Epstein files to be released, Donald Trump said this, then you shouldn't support him. He doesn't want your support. So why do you support a guy that doesn't want your support? That's kind of embarrassing, isn't that?
I don't know. Why would he call for the release of the Epstein files before he was back in?
Because he was asked about it, and he kind of took a while to answer at that time.
He tweeted over and over, release the files, release the files. He was saying it all the time.
Well, to get elected. because he didn't want to go to
Okay,
jail.
but what if they release the files
What if
and
they
he was
release-
just for him being
Okay,
proven
well,
to be
then we'll see.
shit?
Then we'll make a different determination given that's the case. But he would have released it already if he had the ability to, or if he would have, right? If he not I mean like not if he had the ability to. He would have done so if he had the ability to, and he specifically isn't guilty or anyone he knows isn't guilty. So it's either that he's guilty himself or that he's protecting people who are guilty. That's the only explanation.
Yeah, that it could be that he's protecting people, but that's what happens with government leaders. That
Do
could
you
have
think
been
it's
the same
okay to
reason
protect
why.
pedophiles? I mean, like I would condemn any Democrat
No, I
that would be
don't.
involved in this.
The files they existed under the Biden and Harris administration. So if
They
they
were
didn't
sealed.
release
They were
the
sealed.
exact same. No, because what they just
Yes.
released recently was the exact same thing that was released a year ago.
Yeah, yeah. Again, which
Pre-
was not
President wasn't-
which is not what people are
wasn't-
asking for in terms of the files. So why did they release
So-
something that was already released?
You're saying that Trump is the only one that's ever had the ability to do this.
Because of it being sealed, yeah. To my
Okay,
knowledge,
well,
yeah.
that-
So if you'd like to
that-
provide
that's
any
a
knowledge
really-
that Democrats had access to this, then I would.
Debate that people that support Trump and don't support Trump are just going to go back and forth on. I have no power.
Wait, by the way, no, but I just told you there's no reason for you
I
to.
can't do anything about the Epstein files.
If
Why
you
would I
want them
lose?
to be released, then why do you support him? Because he said he doesn't want your support.
I don't know. That I don't know. That also doesn't affect me.
But he said he doesn't
Me and-
want your
me and
support,
Donald
man.
Trump
That's kind of embarrassing that you support a guy that doesn't want your support. That's really embarrassing, actually.
Sure, super embarrassing. Does Kamala Harris want my support? Even though I don't believe me and her don't see eye to eye on majority of political
Kamala Harris would
situations.
want your support over Donald Trump, yes.
Gotcha. Okay, but I'll go back to what the last guy. This is why I clicked the request thing. So interest rates have already gone down. That is a fact.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
a
not
personal-
going to go down now because of the fact that interest rates, or to the fact that there's upward pressure on prices. Interest
They've
rates
already
were
gone down. They've already gone down this
yeah
year.
under whose administration?
Over the course of this year.
Under whose
Under Donald
administration?
Trump.
It was mainly under Biden.
No. Not under the Biden and Harris administration.
When was the last time they went down? Tell me what month.
In the last 12 months.
What month? Tell me. What month did they go down?
I don't know. I know I was pre-approved myself personally for a loan
Uh-huh.
in January at a 6.7% interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
And the VA loans at the time were roughly 0.47.
What month did it happen? I would love to hear what
was
month
January.
it happened.
That would have been January
No,
compared to now.
it was November and December.
What was?
The drop in the basis points. That's from AP News.
I'm
was a little
giving
bit
you
after the
a
election.
personal side by
And
side.
then it also happened in September. There was reductions in September.
I'm telling you of when I got the approval for the loan versus what my current
Yeah, and
approval is.
I was asking you when the interest rates went down because you were trying to claim that that had something to do with Trump.
So under the
And I'm
Trump
telling you that
administration,
rate cut the rate
Listen,
cuts have been slowing down because of Trump and because there's
No, they
upward
haven't.
pressure on prices due to tariffs. Yes, there is.
No, they haven't.
Yes. Tell me when's the last
listen to me.
time? Tell me when's
In
the last time?
2024, no, listen to me. In 2024, a VA loan was 0.47% on average lower than a conventional loan. It's currently 1.2. I was just pre-approved for this loan.
Okay, that would be in your area, right? I'm referencing, you have to reference the last time the Fed rates were dropped. If you look it up, it was December 18th, 2024. Who was president?
So it's lower now, though.
Who was president? The last cut was 2024.
Dude, this is your
2024.
issue.
Who was president?
Is you're Googling. You're looking things up. You're not why do you have no real world experience?
Who was
in this?
president? Who was president? Wait,
That-
by the way,
that would've been Biden.
wait. I'm sorry, you
Would've
didn't know
been
what it
Biden.
was either. I'm crazy. I look it up to make sure because I don't know the dates off the top of my head.
But I gave you 2 dates within the last fiscal year.
But they were wrong. You were trying to claim that has something to do with Trump specifically. It doesn't.
He was the president.
The last time it dropped
The
was
president.
December 18th, 2024, under Biden's administration.
So you're telling me that the interest rates have not dropped since last
Since then.
December?
Yes, they haven't
No,
since
that's
December
not true.
2024. Not
is
from
not
the Federal
true.
Reserve. We were talking about what the Fed would do. He said the Fed would cut rates. That was the conversation we were having.
When was I talking about the Fed? I'm talking about the fact that interest rates have dropped.
I was with the last guest. You were talking about the conversation that we were having, that I was having with the last guest.
Yeah, where you said that interest rates haven't dropped, but they have.
I said they haven't dropped under Trump's administration because of the fact that there's upward pressure on prices due to tariffs, and that's factual.
So why am I getting two different interest rate on my loan approvals under with the same credit?
That's where you are. That has to do with where you are.
So my area changed, but nowhere else changed?
It must have, because it is the case that we haven't seen any change from the Federal Reserve standpoint since December 18th, 2024.
So you're saying it's changing, but on paper it's never changed.
I'm talking about what the paper changes. What are you talking about, dude?
Because I have had two different interest rates presented to me. The one currently is lower.
Yeah, it could be that your credit scores have gone up, right?
No, my credit score is roughly the same.
Okay. Well, then it's likely the area you're in. I don't know what your point is with this. I'm telling you from the Federal Reserve standpoint, the last time it changed was December 18th, 2024. Fuck, dude.
The Federal Reserve's interest rate is not the same as the bank's interest rate, and you know that.
What is the Federal Reserve?
I don't know. I know that their interest rate.
You don't even know what the Federal Reserve. It's the central bank of the United States, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah, what is their interest rate?
Dude, they changed it. The last time they changed it, the target rate to 4.25%.
Exactly. That is not what that's not what citizens are offered. You know, it's not the same. It's not a 1-to-1 ratio.
I understand, but we have to What you have to
acknowledge
is that the Federal Reserve is impacts the rest.
That is what the government gets loans from. That's not what people get
loans
from.
Hey, dude. This affects what it's going to be on a private standpoint because the central bank establishes that. Okay,
so and it's not a 1-to-1 ratio,
dude. I need you to
It's not a 1-to-1 ratio.
Hey,
you know that.
I'm not claiming that on where you are, this is going to be the rate. That's not my claim. Okay,
you're claiming if that doesn't change,
please stop.
No, that's what you're claiming.
Please stop.
Parker, that's what you're claiming.
Please stop. No, we were just talking about the Federal Reserve. We were talking about whether or
not
the Federal
Reserve rate is not what the U.S. citizens get.
Stop talking. We were talking about what the Federal Reserve was going to do. And I was saying the Federal Reserve was not going to reduce target rates because it is the case that there is upward pressure on prices due to tariffs. That was the conversation we were having. If you're making some separate point, fine. Make whatever point you'd like to make. That's fine. I don't care. That's not what we were originally talking about. So when you were trying to say that I was wrong, you were actually misinterpreting me.
Okay, but I'm not getting the Federal Reserve's interest rate.
I don't care. I don't give a shit. Why do you keep telling me this?
I
don't give a fuck. No one asked. Not a single person asked in this live stream. No one asked.
The citizens of the United States don't want interest rates to drop?
I don't give a shit what interest rate you are getting. I don't give a flying fuck. Stop telling me. I don't give a fuck. Drew, I don't give a shit.
Weird.
I could give a fuck less. Your interest rate could be 20% and I wouldn't give a shit.
Ah, gotcha. Here we go. Now you're getting mad because...
Yes, because you're not responding to my points. That was irrelevant to the conversation. I don't give a shit.
My points are that interest rates are dropping under Trump's presidency, and you're telling me
that has nothing to do with Trump and the Federal Reserve.
Why are you caught up on the Federal Reserve?
Because that's who affects the rates from a federal standpoint.
But the rate, it's not a 1-to-1 ratio, and interest rates for U.S. citizens
why are you saying this, dude? Why does he keep saying this? What does he think he's saying?
It's easier to buy a house with lower interest rates, is it not?
I get it, man. But what's your point with this, dude? I just don't get it. The whole conversation I was having with the last guy was about the Federal Reserve. Okay. Whether or not they were gonna reduce rates. He was claiming that they were going to reduce rates. I was saying that's false. Okay.
Okay. So, do you agree that interest rates for U.S. citizens on home mortgages are dropping, which is huge for people? It's massive. They're the lowest they've been since 2021.
No.
Or 2022, sorry. Early 2022 is when interest rates went haywire. They're the lowest they've been since then. It's the most expensive thing in our entire country.
Can you give me your source other than just my anecdotal experience? You're just claiming anecdotally what it is for you. That's not what it is for the U.S. The best way would be able to look
Right,
at
it set off averages, but you're acting like it just dropped where I'm from and it's done that nowhere else.
Yeah, so by the way, there were lower rates in 2021. There definitely were. If we look at mortgage rate
Yes.
trends, weekly average
Like
on
I
Forbes,
said,
be quiet.
Like I said, go to
Be
early
quiet.
2022
Be
is when it
quiet.
changed.
Be quiet.
2021 they were lower. They changed during 2021.
A year ago, the mortgage rates were lower.
No, they were not.
Yes, they
dude.
were. They were 5.15 in September
No,
19th.
no, they were not.
That's for 15-year mortgage. Yeah, that's from Forbes. I'll show
Okay,
you.
okay, for a 15, do a conventional 30, which is what 90%
A 30 was lower as well, which was 6.08 comparative to what it is 6.5% now.
No, it wasn't 6.08.
Yes, it is. I can literally show you right now. Bro's just coping. Here it is, 6.08. That's in September 26, 2024. And then here it is now, September 4th, 6.5%. So it's actually gone up in the last year. You see this?
Thing up. What month did it hit the? You're using the little dump there.
Yeah, that's the from about a year ago.
What is that? What is that time frame of the little dip?
It's actually from if you want to do the exact same
Because
time,
as you can see directly
5.6.
before that, you're using a dip as your basis.
No, I went back to the exact same time. I literally, because that's when
Look-
it dipped, by the way, because that's related to the Federal Reserve. But
Okay, so there
you
was
see
a brief dip.
6.5. See the distinction? There's a bit of a distinction. And then you said in 2021. In 2021, it was 2.3. You see here?
Why are you not
2.9.
listening? I said I recorrected myself and I said 2022 is when things started to get bad. I was fucking
Yeah.
6 months off.
Yeah.
So, but Parker, you're trying to cope because you use your dip, go right back to right before and right after the dip. And
Hey, dude, I'm just telling you what it was a year ago under Biden. Okay.
okay, but everybody can see this that you're using a brief month or two period that was
If you
not
want to
the
look
same
when
as-
Trump got in office, it was 6.16, right, for 15 year, and it's just barely below that now. Like that's like literally like that's
Why are you
not
using
because
a
of Trump at
15-year
all.
loan?
I'm looking
People
at both,
get-
dude. I'm looking at both. You're being so dense for no reason.
No, I'm not. Look, you're using a dip as your basis. You can't use a dip.
I was
Look at
telling
the-
you
look
what
at
it
the
was from a
national
year
average.
back. I'm telling them what it was from a year back. Oh my god.
Okay, so then look at the entirety of the year of 2024. You chose to use the dip.
Yeah, and I
Compared to
showed
the
you it was
9 months
different.
we've
It
had
was
in
pretty
this.
much the same. It was pretty much the same, dude.
You can't say it's pretty much the same.
This is such
Dropping a
a cope, 'cause
quarter
the
percent,
The
half a
original
percent.
conversation was about like the Federal Reserve and what the Federal Reserve was doing, and he said it happened under the Trump administration. It didn't. I proved him wrong on
Yeah,
that.
I'm-
Then he
I'm
moved
aware
the
that the
goalpost,
Federal Reserve-
and he moved to this, and then I show him what it was, and that there wasn't much of a distinction, and then he just like literally is continuing to cope, dude.
I'm aware that the Federal Reserve hasn't changed. I don't really give a fuck how much the Federal Reserve changed.
Okay, then why
want
did you
the
bring up this
price-
as a conversation? You brought this up.
No, I'm talking about the interest rate the U.S. citizen gets from the bank. It's dropped. It's on a downward trend.
Okay, well, that has nothing to do with Trump or the Federal Reserve and what they are specifically doing in terms of policy or the conversation we were having prior. This has nothing to do with Trump's policy.
The point they're trying to make.
If you want to talk about
economically,
things that have happened
are
since
better.
Trump got in office, let's talk about the things that have happened since Trump got in office. Real GDP growth has gone down. Unemployment has increased. The jobs numbers were so bad that Trump fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics because he said the information was politically biased. We can also point to the fact
Yet
that
markets are doing just fine.
those are all bad. Wait, what aspect of the market is doing good?
I just call it the S&P, I suppose. There's lots of different investments.
That's only representative of like a very small portion of our society.
The S&P 500?
Yeah.
That is the most accurate thing you can go off of.
No, it's not. That's an index
On
fund
the
specifically
market.
for the top 500 companies in the U.S.
Correct, which that's
not
the
the best
closest
determination
direct
for the rest of the
representation
people in the U.S. The best determination would be things like real GDP, unemployment, right, inflation. Those would be better indicators for what's going to be impacting middle-class Americans, not just the S&P 500 up, because the S&P 500 was up under the Biden-Harris administration. It was at all-time highs.
At one point.
No, like when he, like literally, like throughout the entirety of his administration, he was straight doing all-time highs. And then since Trump got in office, we've seen it decline a bit because of tariffs being implemented and the uncertainty in the market. So actually, we would have more certainty in the market and likely conditions for better S&P 500 if it is the case that we didn't have the economy doing as bad as it is right now, right? Because of Trump's tariff policy. By the way, when you swipe out of the app, I can't hear you anymore. Noah, thank you for the $1. Thank you so much. I actually didn't see that. Yali, thank you so much. I appreciate the $10. Erica, thank you for the $2. Thank you. Alyssa, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Give some W's for them in the comment section right now. Thank you, thank you. Deanna, thank you so much for the $5. Anna with the $10. Thank you. Mona with the $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
John with the $20. I do hear you now. John, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
The S&P 500 is at an
dude.
all-time high currently.
Maga cries, thank you for the $2. Thank you. Darren, thank you so much for the $10. Alex with the $100 on YouTube. I mean, on PayPal. Thank you so much. Can we get some W's for Alex in the comment section right now? Thank you so much, Alex, with the $100 on PayPal. That is crazy. Thank you so much for the $100 for keep up the good work. Thank you so much. John with the $5 as well. Thank you so much. Lori with the $20. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Can we get some W's for Lori in the comment section right now? Thank you so much. Jeffrey with the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. KJ, thank you for the $5. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Or Jeffrey, thank you for the $10. It was $10. Thank you. Nina with the $5 as well. Thank you. I really appreciate it. All right, continue what we were saying.
The S&P is currently at an all-time high. Not even close. So you were way off on that.
No, I was saying all-time highs.
It took a dip. It took a dip at the end of the first quarter.
That's not what I meant. I meant all-time highs for that time period. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. That's what I was saying. I'm pretty sure I said that too.
The S&P has done that for 25 years.
Yeah, so then why are you saying it's some big thing under Trump?
I said it's doing great, even though there's claims that he's destroying.
It was
our
all-time highs under the Biden-Harris administration as well. Like, I don't know what your point is.
That you're claiming Trump is doing things to negatively impact the economy.
Yeah, and I gave you all these other indicators for why that's the case, and all you're trying to do is look at S&P 500. That's like not a good indicator for the entirety of the economy.
It's the most accurate consensus
No, it's not.
that the average person can invest.
Wait. No one in economics would say that. Not a single person. Who would say that?
If the S&P, there's more money invested in the S&P.
What is this guy saying? Wait, tell me one economist that would say the best indicator for how the economy is doing is the S&P 500.
Where is the most money invested?
What do you mean?
From the U.S. citizen.
What? But like it's going to be the top income thresholds.
It's their businesses. You're the fucking U.S. citizens investing in that.
What? So dude, again, okay. Let me clarify. There are better indicators for how like the typical economy is doing. Real GDP, inflation,
Sure.
unemployment, the jobs numbers. Those are better indicators specifically for how the economy is doing as a whole. If you're talking about the S&P 500, dude,
the economy is not doing bad. I'm a middle class person. The economy is not doing bad. Grocery prices have been on a steady downward spiral the entire.
The grocery prices have been going up since Trump got in office.
Eggs are at the lowest they've been.
Eggs only went down because we saw near the end of Biden's administration bird flu, which has nothing to do with either administration. So eggs have gone down simply just because of that.
Yeah, there was Biden was part of the bird flu, the fucking mass murdering of birds without testing.
Wait, I'm sorry. You think Trump wouldn't have murdered the birds specifically to be able to save
They would have
human
put in
lives?
place. They would have been put in place of testing birds.
Wait, so you would keep that? Would be way more expensive. You would keep the the birds with bird flu alive?
No.
Okay, so then.
But you don't. If one bird for bird flu tests positive, you can kill what's in that barn. You don't kill the entire farm off.
Sure, but I don't think that would have changed if Trump were president. That's not like a Biden policy.
That would have been something that had to have been gone past his desk before it could happen.
Wait,
or somebody would have been fired.
So
like
under the Biden policy, you think that there was no testing, right?
No, there was testing.
Okay.
I have a friend that owns a chicken farm. He owns 4 full-size fucking barns full of chickens. He had one bird test positive. As soon as that happened, it was a direction to kill every one of his birds.
Yeah, because it is the case that they could spread. So they're trying to limit the spread
before you just create one of the most economically friendly fucking substances in our nation, and you turn it into one of the worst.
So what you want is wait, by the way, you could have even worse contagious or spread of bird flu if you don't do that.
It's a maybe. Or you mass killed those birds for no reason. If they're in the same barn, I get it. Yeah, they have direct contact. Birds, chickens in different barns, they never come in contact with each other. They're all cage-raised birds.
Wait, you're saying in different barns they have no affiliation with each other? I don't think
They're
that
not in
happened.
direct contact. It did.
Okay, well, I would have to see. If you would like
I mean,
to,
I understand. I can't
okay.
give you his phone number and prove it,
Hey,
but
dude, Trump didn't cause egg prices to go down. There's no good evidence of that. I don't even know why we're having this conversation.
I understand. But things are cheaper. Like living
they're
everyday prices. Gas is cheaper.
No, it's not. Gas is more expensive. That's just not true.
Gas for the first time in I don't know how many years went under $3 in multiple states.
Okay, gas
this
prices
year.
in the U.S. are higher now than they were when Trump left office.
Correct. That was almost 5 years ago.
No, I meant to say when Biden left office. I apologize.
No, they're not, dude.
Yes, they are. Do you want me to show you a source?
So you're saying that everything in our dude, like there's people in like the real world that like drive to the fucking store and they go home and they're like, damn, shit's actually getting cheaper. And you'd think that they somehow made it up.
No, you've made that up.
No, I haven't made it up.
Because you haven't looked at any of the data. Look, right here. Just take a look. I'll show you.
It's real world data.
Yeah, I'm looking at real world data right now. I want you to take a look. Can you see my screen?
Kind of.
Okay, there you are. You see 307 right there?
No,
on the left?
You're not showing everything.
I got you. You see now?
I can't see your cursor. At the very bottom, 307.
Okay, so you see 307 right here. This is January 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right. This is when Trump got in office. This is now 313. So is 313 higher or lower than 307?
Oh, Parker. What time of the year is gas prices the cheapest?
Wait, what was your claim?
Nationwide.
What was your
Nationwide.
claim? Now he's moving the goalpost. What was your claim?
I said gas has gone down.
Yeah, you said gas has gone down since Trump got in office.
Where
that was false. That was false. That was
hovered
false.
at 330 forever, and now
by the way,
like
your claim that gas has gone down since Trump got in office was false, right?
What was it last year at this time?
Wait, don't even do that. Under Biden, you have to
Sure.
compare Trump to Trump.
See, dude, you just. So if it's gone down in the last year, obviously gas prices aren't the same in the winter as they are in the summer. This is what I mean. You got to get out of the house more. You got to see the real world. You looked at that, and you know what I'm saying. What was it? It might be very close. What was it last time?
So
September.
you were wrong, and then you tried to find any out that you could possibly find. So you are.
What was it last
you're totally.
September?
By the way, you're totally disingenuous. The fact that you had to move the goalpost like that after you got
I didn't move
completely
the
destroyed
goalpost. I'm
and
using
cooked
common
was sad.
sense. You don't compare December gas prices to summer gas prices.
I'm sorry. Then why were you doing that?
I said go back a year.
But that's not what you said first. You said
I'm
specifically.
sorry.
You said specifically that the gas has gone down since Trump got in office.
And then you
And that
pulled
was
the
a total
chart
lie.
up. So if gas was less this September than it was last September, that means
No,
prices
don't
have
pivot.
gone down.
Stop moving the goalpost. What was your claim? What was your claim? Tell me.
That gas prices have gone down under Trump.
Yes, which was wrong. Do you agree that was wrong?
It's not wrong. You don't compare December to September. gas
It's
prices.
not wrong. You just showed him the Energy Information Administration indicating that it was wrong. What are you talking
Why won't
about,
you tell
dude?
me what it was last
I
September?
just showed you. I literally just showed him the source indicating it was wrong. Concede, bro. Concede.
Why won't you show me last September?
It is gone down by 20 cents this last September. I'm not going to dispute that. But the point that I'm making,
That is the difference, Parker.
that's not because
goddamn,
of Trump.
dude.
That's not because of Trump.
Okay, so you went through all that just
By
to
the way,
finally say
I just want to let you know what it was for October.
Why has it gone down? Why was gas the
Or
lowest?
actually, no, not 20 cents. Since
forever under his
September.
last
I
presidency.
apologize. I got that wrong. It has only gone down by 7 cents since last September. And if you want to look at the next month after that in October, it was 3.13. So by next month, you won't be able to make this bullshit, stupid fucking point anymore. Right? You made this point in order to move the goalpost and not address the reality that gas has gone up since Trump got in office.
Dude, okay. No, I'm not going to concede to that because it doesn't
I
make
just
sense.
showed you the source for that. I mean, you can just keep being disingenuous. You can keep just being bad faith, but facts don't give a shit about your feelings, buddy.
Okay.
Facts don't give a shit about your feelings, buddy.
That's hypocritical.
No,
isn't
it's
it?
not, because I'm the one showing you the facts, and you're the one saying, my feelings, my feelings, my feelings.
Parker, you only get like wound up like this when you're not doing good.
What do you mean? I just disproved you. I'm doing completely fine.
Yes or no question. Are gas prices higher in the winter or the summer nationwide?
They're typically higher during the summertime.
So why would I directly compare December to September?
Actually,
That's not how you would compare gas prices. You would compare month to month in different years.
then why
Which
were
in
you
that
making?
case, gas has gone down.
Then please tell me why you were making that comparison. Because you were the one
Because
claiming
Trump's
that
been
since
president for
Trump
almost
got
a
in
year.
office, prices have
So I
gone
lose
down. That's the claim you made. So stop saying I
They
should be
have.
making this argument when all I was doing
They
was
have.
responding to your dumb shit. I never made this
They have
comparison.
gone down,
Hey,
Parker.
by the way,
They've
I
gone
never
down.
made this comparison out of my own just argument that I'm making. You made
Parker,
the
the
argument.
gas prices have gone down. You're not understanding. You would never in any universe compare December to September gas prices as a way to
This
prove
guy is
gas
the one who
prices
did
have
it.
gone
I
down.
can't do it. He's the one who did it.
But
You're the one who made that
lower
comparison.
than they are. They're lower than they were a year ago, and we've had a new president for how many months?
Hey, I've acknowledged this. Given that I've acknowledged that, can you acknowledge that
Interest
since-
rates are down, gas prices are down, eggs are down, and yet I'm supposed to believe I'm making
wait,
less
if you
money.
want to talk about since a year ago, since we're making the year ago comparisons, right? Interest rates are not down since a year ago.
They are though.
No, they're not. They're actually up
Has
since a
been
year ago.
approved for multiple interest rates.
Wait,
and
they're
they are
up since
now
a year ago.
lower.
They're up since a year ago.
No, they aren't, Parker.
Yes, they are. I just showed you on the graph, dude. You're so disingenuous. Like,
No,
the
you
debate-
showed a dip.
Shut
Parker,
up.
you showed a dip.
Yeah, and that was
Use
the dip.
common sense.
But that was from a year ago. So if we're using the standard of we just go back and look a year ago, regardless of whether or not there was a dip at that point, that's the standard that you wanted to use. Okay? And by the way, we're having a conversation about what the fucking facts were, right? We can just look at the graph. I showed you the graph already. There's no need for you to continue doing this bullshit. This is not a fun dialogue for anyone. This is not getting us anywhere. Okay? Can you give like an actual response to what I'm saying instead of just doing this bullshit where we have to continually back and forth just say, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, when I'm actually the one with the sources and you're just pulling this shit out of your ass?
Parker, you looked at the same sources I did, and you chose to use a dip as your
No,
consensus.
you didn't even look at that source. I was the one who pulled it up. You never even looked at the source in the first place. Your source
was on my screen.
your source was, and near where I am, the mortgage rates were this. That's what your source was. That's not an average for the entire country. That's not looking at the Federal Reserve. That's not making any type of indication for what it is for the entire country. That's not a good standard. That's not a source. Jesus
Parker,
fuck,
the
dude.
source you pulled a month later was way higher. It was higher than
No,
what it is now.
It was 2 months later. Or
Okay.
not 2 months later. A year later. Sorry.
No,
If
it was
you go-
not.
If you go 2 months after
Parker,
that year,
you showed a dip. You showed a dip.
okay, you're
that
now talking
lasted
about
for
mortgage.
2
I thought we were
months.
talking about yeah. So if you're talking about the mortgage rates, yes, the mortgage rates had like a dip there because of the Federal Reserve, and then they
Okay,
went
so
up
if
after
if
that
you
because
wanted to buy a
Hey,
house
dude.
in that dip, then that benefited nobody.
Dude, this guy is like it's like speaking to a wall, man. I can't even have a conversation with this guy. I'm trying my hardest. I'm really
Pull it back
trying,
up.
and
Pull
you're
back up
making
the
it
same graph you
impossible.
showed.
You're
Pull up
making
the
it-
same exact graph you showed. You're getting sweaty. Look, I can tell. I can tell you're getting bugged. Your armpits are soaked.
Yeah, it's what?
Other one. Yeah, exactly. Right there.
Oh, I have a little bit of fucking water. Okay, my bad, man. My bad. It's hot up in my room. I apologize. Oh my god.
Coming through your shirt.
That
It's
that wasn't
okay.
there before. Like what?
Pull the graph up.
Dude, he
Pull the
thinks
graph
that's because of him, dude. That's unironically what he's saying. You're so disingenuous, bro.
It was literally what I was saying. It wasn't anything ironic or unironic. I literally was saying that.
Hey, dude, can we have a conversation about something relevant? We've already talked about this for like the past 20 minutes, dude.
No, pull the graph back up and then we can move on. Parker, you don't use a dip to show like an average consensus of a
I
time
didn't do
period.
that. I clarified
Yes,
already,
you
man.
did. Yes, you did. You showed a dip that lasted no more than 2 months and tried to compare that to the interest rates over the last couple years. You know that's not a smart thing to do. Nobody would ever do that.
I'm
You know
doing
that
this.
interest rates are lower than they
Hey,
were
dude, you want to
over
know
the
why I
average
specifically said
of
that time?
2024 because it was exactly 1 year after what I said.
Yeah, it was 1 year difference. So I
It
was
was a
doing this.
dip.
I was doing the
So
same method. I was doing the
if Trump
same.
had a dip right now, hey, if he had the same dip just come by, it would be lower than what that was because it would have started at a lower point, which is how
So
that would work.
So I did the same method of comparison that you did specifically with the last year. You did like a year back. So I did the same method of comparison. That wasn't like my specific. I was
I
just
used the
looking.
national
Hey,
average. I
hey,
didn't
can you
use the
stop
lowest
talking?
point.
Can you stop talking?
I used a national average of the year of 2024. I didn't go back and pick the very lowest point that lasted. It was less than 2 months that was available. No, it was like a day that interest rate was available. That entire dip only lasted maybe 2 months. So how many people benefited from purchasing a house in that 2 month period?
That wasn't any claim that I was making. I wasn't making any claim about that. I was simply just doing a year back in terms of the method analysis that you brought up originally. And actually, I was trying to
Currently,
show you.
the average
Can
interest rate in the year of
he can't
2025 is
stop.
lower
He
than
has no impulse
2024
control. Hey,
and
can we have a
2023 and
wow, dude? This is
2022.
such a productive dialogue.
I don't know, man. It's like I proved it to you. I showed you. You pulled it up because you didn't think it was true. You proved my point right, and
No,
then
I
you
didn't.
start deflecting. Yes, you
No, I
trying to
didn't.
be incredibly too literal about things that are said. You're like, look, this is 1 year ago. This is your claim, even though you can see the average of that entire year was higher than what it is right now. It's higher than the average this year.
Okay. So the method of analysis that I
Okay.
was bringing up was simply the same method of analysis that you tried. And I was simply just trying to show you that if you use that same method of analysis for the mortgage rates that you were referencing, it showed that they were actually lower. So the method of analysis that you're using in terms of gas prices, right, probably isn't the best mechanism specifically to look at it. If you want to look at it, what's happened
We're
since...
not on a dip. We're
Wow,
not on a sharp dip
can
in
you please
gas
stop
prices.
talking? Can you please stop talking and listen?
It's on a steady decline.
Do I need to like yell at this guy for him to like listen or engage with the points that I'm bringing up? Like, if I talk to you normally, are you not going to respond to any points that I'm saying? That was a real question. I was asking you that. I'm serious.
I don't know because you just keep repeating the same thing that doesn't.
Because you cut me off every
doesn't-
single time, and because you're repeating the same bullshit talking point over and over again. Okay? That's
Because-
actually you, the one that's repeating it, and I simply have to bring up the same thing because I disproved what you said specifically with my explanation, and then you kept
you didn't.
repeating the same thing that I already disproved, so I have to keep repeating the same thing because you keep repeating the same bullshit talking point that I've already disproven. Okay? So let me explain,
So-
and can you be quiet and listen to me? I'm letting you speak. I'm letting you engage with what you have to say. Please let me do the same. Okay?
Yeah, go.
If we want to do the same method of analysis that you were doing, we would go back and look back a year time, and that you don't like that method of analysis. So if you want to go back specifically to the very point in which they got in office, the same thing that you were telling me to do specifically when it comes to the interest rates, well, then we can do the same thing with gas prices because that's originally the method of analysis you were doing. So the method of analysis you brought up for gas prices was since Trump got in office, gas prices have gone down. Since Trump got in office, grocery prices have gone down. Since Trump got in office, eggs prices have gone down. None of those things were true, but the point you were saying was that it was the method of analysis they were using. As soon as you realized that was wrong, you immediately move the goalpost to a separate point. Now you're going to continue saying the same bullshit talking point of, oh, you have to look back to a year prior. No one else makes that method of analysis like we've already heard you say 7 times. So you can choose to move on with the conversation and try to have a broader conversation about new things, or you can continue to talk about this dumb bullshit conversation that we've had over and over again and that we've already gone over 7 times. It's your choice.
All three of those statements that I made are true, though. I don't know why you're having such a hard time with that. Even just throwing the egg thing in there, eggs are cheaper now than they were all of last year for the entirety of this year. Gas prices cheaper all of this year for the entirety
if
of
you
last
can't
year.
concede to this, I'm going to move on to the next person. Since Trump has got in office, gas prices have gone up.
You're fucked. I'll leave myself.
You can't concede to that? Wow. Wow. He couldn't concede to that. He couldn't even admit it. That's embarrassing, dude. That's so embarrassing. He couldn't even admit like something that was factually true that we showed him on the screen. Like, by the way, that was infinite patient tests right there. Infinite patience test. Jeez. Rodney, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Rodney. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Shannon with the $75 on Cash App. Thank you so much thank you for having the patience to deal with Maga. Yeah, my patience was genuinely tested like crazy there. It was tested like crazy there. Alyssa, thank you so much for the $2. Thank you. Deanna, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Alyssa, thank you so much for the $2. I would have if I saw this. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much, Alyssa, again for the $2. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Let me catch up on YouTube Super Chat, and then we're going to go into the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria on the screen. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the screen, everyone. We are just looking for some debates. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria. We are simply just looking for some debates, everybody. Alrighty, let's say some thank yous to the people on YouTube real quick, and then we'll move on to the next person. If you're on YouTube, tap that screen, or hit that thumbs up, everyone. Let's try to get to 2,000 likes for the 3.3 thousand people in the stream. Hit that like button. Feisty, thank you for the $20. Thank you so much, Feisty. I really appreciate it. Delisa, thank you so much. I appreciate the $5. Glampire with the $2. Mutant with the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Daja, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Mutant, thank you for the $10. Valerie, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you, Valerie. Yo, what's up? How old are you, by the way?
27.
Do you support Donald Trump?
I do not. I was going to say.
Okay. Well, I don't know why you randomly said that in the guest box. But Valerie, again, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Brad with the 42 cents. Absolutely. Hello. How you doing today, Brad? Nina with the $50. Thank you so much again. Can we get some W's for Nina in the comment section for the $50? Thank you so much, Nina. I really appreciate it. W's for Nina in the comment section right now. Thank you so much, Nina. I really appreciate it. Thank you. W Nina in the comment section right now. Thank you. As well as Lori. Thank you for the $20. Mutant with the $2 and Andrew with the $2. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
38.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yeah.
And why do you support Donald Trump?
Well, I had a question, man. I know going to that video you played of Dean there. So you think, well, Trump was a friend with Epstein. Does that automatically makes him a bad person?
No, I'm not just making a claim that him being friends with someone makes him a bad person. I'm saying the relation he has, the fact that he's hiding stuff, the fact that he's been held civilly liable of sexual abuse. He said he would date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years. He said that Epstein was a terrific guy, likes beautiful women as much as he does, many of them on the younger side. He's perved on little girls in Miss Teen USA. An 18-year-old came out, said there were 4 girls as young as 15 years old. So it's all of those things in combination indicate that he's a bad person.
Okay. Well, I mean...
Have you been here before?
I don't know. No.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, you're friends with Dean, and, you said he's your best friend, and he said the N-word before. Does that make you racist?
I think
support someone?
Yeah, when he was 14 years old, he used the N-word, and I think that he's changed over time. He's progressed as a person. He advocates against those things. He's acknowledged his behavior. He's apologized for it, and he's done better as a person, and now advocates against those things. That's exactly what I think you should do in that context, and I think that you can go from being racist to not being racist anymore. Do you think that's possible, to go from being racist to not being racist?
Yeah, Trump's done it.
Okay. Well, okay, then when did Trump acknowledge his behaviors? When did Trump advocate against racism? Right? And when did Trump say what he did was wrong?
When he, housed, a black lady that, didn't have nowhere to live in his buildings.
Wait, no. When did he acknowledge that what he did was racist?
I mean, he's never even, I don't think he is racist. So why would he have to?
Has he ever done something that's racist?
I don't think so. No.
No? Never? So
No.
Not renting to black people in the 1970s? Right? Calling for the execution of the Central Park Five when they were exonerated based upon DNA evidence?
But
Right? Saying that black people have a trait of laziness?
Well, what you just said, so he didn't house black people back in the 70s, but he housed one, a black lady for free. That's the same thing as saying sorry, like Dean said, right? It showed that he wasn't. Made changes.
Because it doesn't acknowledge his behavior. It doesn't advocate against that behavior.
That
right?
definitely acknowledges that. How was that? How do you not see
that?
No,
him simply just providing housing for one person is not acknowledging his past behavior that was racist and advocating against that past behavior that was racist. He has to acknowledge his racism that he's engaged in his past, and he has to try to do better as a person in order to be able to do that. He has not done that.
But I don't think that he's racist. I don't think that he thinks he's racist.
I understand,
so why
but
would we have to
I
acknowledge
gave you
something
multiple
like that?
explanations of what he's done that's right. Do you think him saying that black people have a trait of laziness is racist?
I don't think that. No, I mean, I don't. No, I don't think in context. Maybe there was something else. I don't know what you're talking about, so I can't give you a rebuttal on that.
So you don't think that's racist?
I think there might have been context, but like I said, I never heard that.
What
I never read
context
that.
could be provided to the statement that black people have a trait of laziness that would make it not racist?
Talking about cultural, issues that are going on. Like there's stuff that's plenty of things that could be, out of context and stuff. But that's what you guys do, is say stuff out of context.
So
if
can
there
you
was
tell me
context,
what context could exist that would make
can
that
you tell
statement
me?
not
Can you tell
racist?
me the context that he said that?
That no context could not make that racist. There's no point for me to even bring that up. There's no context that would make that statement not racist.
I think there is. As if you're talking to a crowd of people about cultural differences and stuff, that sure, maybe that
Really? So you think that it's not racist to say that black people have a trait of laziness?
Everybody has a trait of laziness, don't you think? Every race.
Nah, bro. Get the fuck off my stream. You fucking idiot. Get off my stream. What a fucking weirdo, dude. What an absolute weirdo. Imagine trying to say that that statement is not racist. That's so crazy. KYM, thank you so much for the $1.20. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Kim. It didn't work. It didn't work, Kim. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, that person is so fucked. Let's go to the next person, Delisa. Again, thank you for the $5, by the way. Thank you, Mutant. Thank you for the $10. Thank you. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hey, how's it going? I'm 42 years old.
14?
No, 42. 42.
Sorry. Okay, yeah, you're good. Don't worry. So why do you support Trump?
I was born in November 14th, 1982.
And if you could go back in time and you could either vote for Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, who would you vote for?
Harris.
You would vote for Harris? Okay, all right. We are just looking for people who do meet that set of criteria that I've listed on the screen, everyone. Please only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria on the screen. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, everyone. It will help get it out to more people. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Oh shit, did I send a joint request? Nah, I'm 13, bro.
Let's go on the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the screen, everyone. We are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hi, 22.
Do you support Donald Trump?
I am very similar to you. Did I mention?
Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the screen, everyone. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria on the screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the screen, everyone. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 18, man.
What's your birth year?
2007.
What month?
August.
Okay. Why do you support Trump? Or if you could go back in time and you could either vote for Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, who would you vote for?
I guess I feel like that's kind of a loaded question because I don't want to say I support Trump, but at the same time, I don't want to say I support Harris because.
Okay, well then you can sit in the comment section. If that's a loaded question and you can't answer it, go ahead and sit in the comment section. Diana, thank you for the $5. It's whenever I get into debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Oh.
How old are you?
19.
I couldn't really tell. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
35.
Do you support Donald Trump?
I do.
If you could go back in time and either vote for Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, who would you vote for?
It'd definitely be Trump.
Why is that?
Well, I mean, he's honest, and no one has him in his pocket. No one has him in their pocket, I should say.
This is not true. When he got a $400 million jet from Qatar, he also literally went up to a big fossil fuel company, said, if you give me $1 billion for my campaign, I'll give you $110 billion in tax cuts. And in terms of him being honest, that's definitely not true. He was He was definitely not honest. He had 30,000 confirmed lies in his first administration. He cheated on every single one of his wives, so he's a serial adulterer, along with the idea that he lied about the 2020 election results, lied about releasing the Epstein files, lied about repealing and replacing the ACA, lied about draining the swamp. I mean, all of these different things we can point to that were just blatant and utter lies.
Okay, no, I get what you're saying, but I mean, what fucking man wouldn't?
What'd you say?
What man wouldn't in his position? You know, I mean, I'm not condoning anything that he's done or anything, but
Wait,
you know,
what
I
man
mean,
wouldn't do what he's done? Like, I mean, I wouldn't do what he's done. I think what he's done is horrible and atrocious.
in what way?
I just told you multiple things. I mean, do you think cheating is okay?
Never said that.
Okay, that's one of the things I brought up. 30,000 confirmed lies. Do you think that's okay? I mean, you brought up one of his good attributes is being honest. Do you think it's honest to have 30,000 confirmed lies in 4 years in your administration?
No, what I said was that he is not pocketed by the main, like, government, like the overall world government.
There is no overall world government.
And what makes you say that?
There's no evidence of this? I mean, are you saying the UN is the overall world government? They don't have, like, world government enforcement mechanisms like that.
Just because you don't believe in the overall world government, or
What evidence do you have that there is a world government?
literally the past 1,000 years of government.
The past thousands of years of government. So, no, there hasn't been a world government for the past 1,000 years. That's ridiculous to say, actually. Wildly absurd. You think there was a world government during World War I and World War II?
Oh, absolutely.
And what evidence do you have of this?
I never said I had evidence. That's just what I think.
Okay, and I think I'm going to be the very best that no one ever was. And to catch them is my real test, and to train them is my cost. I will be a Pokemon master.
Well, I mean, you very well could be. I mean, I'll call you Ash Ketchum.
You should. Samantha, thank you for the $4.20. Thank you. That's as much basis and reason as what you just said. He just left, by the way. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the screen, everyone. We are just looking for some debates. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the screen, everyone. When are you getting off? I have 3 more hours left on the stream, everyone. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, everyone. For the 3.2 thousand people here, make sure to hit that thumbs up. Let's try to get to 3,000 likes for today, everyone. Should be here for 3 more hours. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
18.
What's your birth year?
2007, May 18th.
Okay, and do you support Donald Trump?
Yep.
Okay, and why do you support Donald Trump?
Have
you been on my live before?
I haven't.
Okay, why do you support Trump?
It seems like a more genuine candidate. Definitely, yeah.
Okay, how is he more genuine?
Another reason I would say I like him, I like his beliefs more.
Yeah, we can talk about that in a second. How is he more genuine?
Just seems like more of a genuine guy. I don't.
How so? Can you give me like examples of how he's more genuine?
He's stuck by his word a lot more than Biden did. That's for sure.
Yeah, he dropped the Epstein files. He repealed and replaced the ACA. He drained the swamp. He built the wall to make Mexico pay for it. He did no new wars.
Built a wall and made Mexico pay for it. How's that bad?
No, I'm just saying he didn't do these things. He didn't do these things.
Oh, yeah.
He stuck by his word, really?
I mean, not everything you could say could happen, but he's definitely done a lot more than what Biden.
Tell me one thing. Tell me one thing he's done that he stood by.
You see, like the border patrol, he definitely up that.
Tax cuts for billionaires. You know what? He got that. That's one promise he definitely upheld. The tax cuts for the billionaires.
Yeah, how's that? Where's the proof of that?
The big beautiful bill disproportionately gives tax cuts to the millionaires and billionaires. Kamala Harris would have kept the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act for
And why
income,
didn't she?
For income under
No,
40K.
then why didn't she though?
She wasn't elected.
No, but she was vice president. Why didn't she do any of the things she said she was going to do?
They actually did. The Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill, the Chips and Science Act, the PACT Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, the American Rescue
No,
Plan.
we're going back to like 90% of the things that they said, and 90% is the understatement. Why didn't they do anything that they said they were
going to name one thing they said they were going to do that they didn't do?
Off the top of my head, like lower prices,
they never said they were going to lower prices. They said they were going to make some things more affordable, which they did. Like, for example, the $35 cap on insulin for those that are on Medicare, right through the Inflation Reduction Act. So go ahead and try again.
Let's go to what's some things that you like about what was some things that you liked that the Biden administration did?
The Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill, the Chips and Science Act, the PACT Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, and the American Rescue Plan, like I said earlier.
My whole thing is I'm about putting Americans first. That's definitely a big thing.
Okay. Name one policy that Trump's passed that put Americans first.
The getting rid of illegal immigrants that are here. Definitely, that's putting America first because you're putting more safety and stuff. Because we have these people in our countries that we don't have identified. We don't have nothing on them. We don't know who they are.
So give them a pathway to citizenship. For anyone in the country who hasn't committed a violent crime or bad crime, give them a pathway to citizenship and make the legal process go quicker. That would make it safer, and it would make there as a more of an incentive for people.
No, and I definitely do agree. I think there is a lot of immigrants here that are here illegal that should definitely, they need to work on trying to get them here, like, to be, like, they definitely need to be here, like, if they're doing, like, if they're working, they need to have like a better process of like keeping those illegals and stuff. But like the ones that commit crimes and do all that shit.
So let me clarify. How does mass deportation benefit our society? You said that it makes us safer, right? I would say that if you were to specifically provide a pathway to citizenship for those that have not committed violent crimes and bad crimes, right, that wouldn't be making the country less safe. It would be making the country actually safer. As a percentage of the population, we'd have a lower crime rate. Right, so did you know undocumented immigrants commit lower rates of violent crime, drug crime, property crime in the United States comparative to natural-born U.S. citizens? So if there's a greater percentage of the population...
I'm going to need you to slow down.
That's fine.
Just a little bit.
Got you. So undocumented immigrants commit lower rates of violent crime, drug crime, and property crime in the United States comparative to natural-born U.S. citizens.
And how do we know that if we don't have no record on them?
There's a study there's actually a bibliography in my bio. Do you know what a
bibliography is? It's a study, though. Study is his word versus his word.
No, it's not.
Whatever.
It is. You don't know what studies are. You clearly don't know what
studies aren't always true. I could just make a study and say this happened, and that doesn't make it true.
No, you can't.
You can.
Okay. All right. Then I'll ask you this question: can you find me a single study indicating that you can fly?
Yeah, I can make one right now. Like
just with your normal human body, without doing anything else, you can just fly like Superman. So no, you can't just create any study that just says whatever you want, okay? You can't do that.
Yeah, but you could also lie about it. Anybody could lie about a study.
Okay, and that's why we have studies to specifically clarify things, right? To clarify whether or not they're true. They have a methodology. You can literally verify it. You can do the same things that they did, and you can come out with the same results. That's what studies are for. Now, let me explain. So if you look at the bibliography in my bio, which is a works cited page in my bio, there is an entire page of different sources about immigration that specifically show that there's lower rates of crime relating to immigration for documented immigrants and for undocumented immigrants, that they commit lower rates of crime.
Okay, my bad. I was just looking at some of the comments.
Okay, did you hear anything I said?
Yeah, I heard.
What did I say? Tell me.
No, I didn't hear it because you're going a little too fast, and I'm reading the comments.
I slowed down. So don't read the comments. Listen to what I'm saying. You're having a conversation with me. Okay? There's a bibliography in my bio, a works cited page that has an entire page of different sources, right, that are peer-reviewed and have a basis and reason that show you their methodology that indicate that immigrants, documented and undocumented, commit lower rates of crime, violent, drug, and property crime.
Okay. And then I have a question for you. Do you think Trump's a racist?
Yes. Why are you pivoting?
Oh no, it's just I heard I heard you talking about that, and I
But
want
why
to
are
get
you
on
not
topic
addressing
with
what I
that
just
too.
said and instead you're pivoting?
Because we obviously don't agree on the same thing, and I want to get on
No,
a new topic or something.
facts don't care about your feelings. You do not agree with.
It's not everything you hear is facts.
I'm not just saying I heard this. I gave you sources.
Yeah, it's a lot of the things that you say. I would need to see it with my own eyes. I'm not disagreeing with it, but like I'm not like gonna agree on something I haven't seen.
I just told you can look at the bibliography from my bio, and it will indicate that to you to be true.
I'm not looking at it right now.
So then why do you believe that they commit higher rates of crime or they bring crime to the country when you haven't looked at any source indicating that?
Because you can't really prove that they don't or do.
Yes, we can. That's the methodology in the bio indicates. Dude, it's free. Go check out the bibliography in the bio. It's totally free. Go check it out before you make claims. You haven't looked at any resources, and yet you were totally okay with saying that they commit more crime or they bring more crime to the country. You didn't look for any evidence. You didn't look for any research. You didn't do any critical thinking. You just said the very thing that Donald Trump has been perpetuating over and over and over again that has no factual basis. Immigrants are not a threat to you. You know who's a threat to you? People like Donald Trump. He's literally convicted criminal, held civilly liable of sexual abuse, a woman who pardoned violent rioters who beat police officers on January 6th. And you're worried about an undocumented immigrant that's working in this country for a better life?
Rioters who beat. So if you want to talk about riots, let's talk about BLM riots. Why is January 6th so bad, but BLM riots aren't?
I condemn any political violence in this country. Right? I will acknowledge any of that in any context. But the issue is that Democrats weren't pardoning violent rioters, but Donald Trump did.
So
that's a big
he
distinction.
offered to send National Guard, and Nancy Pelosi was the one that declined that.
Nancy Pelosi doesn't have the authority to do that.
What do you? What was her job?
It had nothing to do with that.
What was her job? Answer. Just tell me what her job was.
She was like the she was like the what's it called? She was the head of the house. The
You not know
what
Nancy Pelosi? Okay, so I'm just saying if you don't know anything about her job, how are you
Speaker of the House? Sorry, I apologize.
If you don't know anything about her job, how are you going to say she didn't have authority to not send National Guard?
I do know about her job, and I do know that she has no authority because I've seen multiple.
But you didn't even know what she did. You just like.
Yes, I did. I've had this conversation multiple times. I said head of the House rather than Speaker
and
of
all
the
I
House.
here's another thing that was about January 6th is that it's always brought up, but the BLM riots that happened on the daily didn't.
Hey,
and
dude.
I'm not agreeing with January 6th. I think.
Hey, dude, like I already told you, I condemn any political violence. But Democrats, we're not pardoning violent rioters. Okay? Donald Trump did pardon a violent rioter. He told people to go to the Capitol, and he told them to fight like hell and to take back the country from those that stole from them. And then he pardoned those that beat police officers and were convicted of it, admitted to it, and were caught on video doing it.
That's where context is needed.
What context is needed for that? He incited a violent insurrection.
Just repeat what he just said and think that there needs to be context. He didn't literally say, "Hey, go storm the Capitol." He said, "Fight for the country," and it's two different. There's context to it.
What extra context means that he's not inciting a violent insurrection, given that he pardoned the violent rioters?
Okay, so what did he say in the speech that told him to go do everything that happened on January 6th?
Yeah. He told them to fight like hell and to take back the country from those that stole it from them.
Yeah, and that's it's a whole different meaning than, hey, go storm the Capitol.
No. And you know, before
he didn't say word for word, hey, go storm the Capitol.
You don't have to do that in order to be held liable for this, or to be responsible for it. So there's multiple things. So let's address this, right? Donald Trump pardoned the violent rioters who beat police officers. If he did not want the violence, he would not have pardoned the violence. He would have had plausible deniability if it is the case that he never pardoned them. I actually didn't run this argument prior to the election and prior to Donald Trump pardoning them, because I thought there was enough plausible deniability to claim that he didn't incite a violent insurrection at the Capitol. But since Donald Trump specifically pardoned the violent rioters, there is no plausible deniability for saying that he didn't want the violence on January 6th. And I can give you a quick
So
hypothetical
how's
if you don't
saying
believe me there.
fight for your country any different from like Biden saying it, like fight for your country? How's that any different though? What if
because Joe
people
Biden never
wanted to
pardoned
go?
because Joe Biden never pardoned violent rioters. Again, I
He
told
pardoned
you,
his son,
prior-
Hunter
Biden wasn't convicted of a violent crime.
He was.
No, he wasn't.
Because he got pardoned. What do you mean?
He was never convicted of a violent crime. Pardons happen after a conviction.
Yeah.
What violent crime did he commit?
How did?
What violent crime was he convicted of?
There's bad business. Like there is just a lot of shady business going on.
That was nothing associated with that. Was he was not convicted of anything associated with that, and that's not violent crime. Okay.
He was still a convicted felon, and he got pardoned. What was the whole point of Biden pardoning Hunter Biden when he said he wasn't going to do it?
Are you saying it's bad? Are you saying it's bad to be a convicted felon?
Well, because you're going to bring up Trump, who's also a convicted felon, but there is no evidence on it.
He was convicted and beyond a reasonable doubt by an entire jury.
Well, a felon couldn't be president. Well, hold on. So a felon couldn't be president.
A felon is currently president.
No, a convicted.
A convicted felon is currently president.
A felon can't be a president.
A convicted felon is currently president.
But a felon can't.
A convicted felon is currently president. Yes, they can.
Convicted. You said felon. There's a difference between convicted and felon.
He's a felon and a convicted felon.
If he's a felon, he can't be president.
Yes, he can. The Constitution doesn't limit felons from being president.
Yeah. Okay. You need to pull that up, because there's no way a felon could be president when felons came in.
Is Donald Trump a felon?
Country as a felon.
Is Donald Trump a felon?
What? No.
He is. Is a convicted felon a felon?
No, because okay. So what does convicted mean to you?
A convicted felon is not a felon. That's interesting.
What is convicted?
What is convicted? The jury, right, in the context of a criminal court, indicated that you are guilty.
So did they have ever? Okay, hold. Here's my thing. If everything they said that they had on him, if they had the actual proof for that, he wouldn't have been arrested for everything he did. If it was true,
he was arrested. There's a mugshot of him. Do you want to see his mugshot?
No, that he was taken into custody. Okay, no, that wasn't. He wasn't arrested. He was taken into custody.
Do you want to see his mugshot?
I've seen it.
Okay,
he didn't get arrested. Though. It's completely.
So how did they get it? So then why does he have a mugshot if he never was arrested?
You can, it's like being like questioned and stuff like that. Technically, it's not like
they don't. If you just get questioned by the police, by the way, if you just get questioned by the police, you don't take a mugshot. That's not how it works.
Okay, so going back to this
question. Yeah, we'll go back to that in a second. Can I ask you a question? Are you Antifa?
Tifa.
Are you Antifa?
Oh, Antifa. No, why do you say that?
You're pro-fascism?
So are you assuming that I'm Antifa?
I'm Antifa. All right, I'm definitely anti-fascist. Definitely. So do you agree with me that you're anti-fascist?
I wouldn't say so.
You're not anti-fascist? So are you pro-fascist?
I'm not really okay, I have still both political views on things. There's not everything I don't agree on everything with the Republican Party. I don't agree on everything.
I get you, but can you at least say that you're anti-fascist?
I'm not gonna say that if I don't know the.
You can't say that you're anti-fascist? Jeez, so you're pro-fascism?
I'm not pro. I'm not pro, but I'm not.
So you're neutral on fascism?
Shit, I guess.
You think we were neutral on fascism in World War II?
Okay. Hold. I want to go back to the felon thing.
Wait, no, I have a
'cause feel
question.
like now
do
we're
you think
taking it-
that America was neutral on fascism in World War II?
Probably not.
So we were Antifa. So the U.S. was Antifa against the Nazis. Okay. So then, like, why wouldn't you want to be Antifa?
I don't know. I'm trying to.
Bro, I can't believe Trump has you like so cooked in the brain that you don't even know how to say that fascism is wrong. Like that you're against fascism. Like literally, you can't even say that you're against fascism. That's how much Trump has you in the weeds. That you can't even say you're against fascism, dude.
You're spinning back from the question about Biden.
No,
being
I'm sorry. Are you against fascism?
I'm not arguing against it. I haven't. Like,
You're not arguing against fascism? Jeez, fuck, dude.
I'm not arguing against anti-fascism. Like,
Okay,
I don't
well,
really,
wait. Hey, by the way, if you're anti-fascist, wait. By the way, if you are against fascism in the comment section, type 3 in the comment section, everyone. Type 3 in the comment section if you're against fascism.
We're talking about something completely different. We got on topic of fascism instead of.
Okay, that's fine. We'll go back.
With, like, the
we'll go back. It's fine.
Partying convicted felon.
Yes, well, let's talk about that. So Donald Trump is a convicted felon. He's a sentenced convicted felon.
And Hunter Biden's not?
Hunter Biden was convicted, but he was not convicted of any violent crimes. So the distinction that we were providing prior was that Democrats were not pardoning violent rioters who beat police officers, yet Donald Trump was.
And it goes both ways. Like Biden saying, "I would never pardon his son." Yeah, like pardoning a convicted felon and another person pardoning convicted felons. Like,
okay, listen to this. Hunter Biden, right, was not convicted of a violent crime. Okay, if Hunter Biden was not convicted of a violent crime, you cannot compare that.
What was he convicted of? Tell me.
He was some gun-related charge.
And what else?
That was it.
What else?
To my knowledge, that was it. Mary, thank you for the $25, by the way, on PayPal. The guests today have been very frustrating. Delian, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $5. Thank you. Libby with the $20. Thank you so much. You can keep this if you become a Pokemon master. I will. Someday I will. Brad, thank you for the 33 cents for Antifa. Thank you. Larry, thank you for the $2. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I will definitely try to look that up. Catherine, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you, Catherine. I really appreciate it. Put some W's for Catherine in the comment section. You were saying?
Okay, so we're talking about. So, to your knowledge, he was only convicted of a gun charge.
To my
knowledge,
like
I said, it goes both ways.
I can bring it up if you'd like.
This is where you can't This is where hypocrisy comes in. You can't You have to be neutral in some of this or whatever and stuff. Like talk about Trump being a convicted felon and then pardoning convicted felons or whatever.
Here's
but
what
it goes both ways too. Biden doing that with his son after he said he would never do it. If he said he would never do it, and that just makes you look guilty. Why would he pardon Hunter Biden if he didn't do nothing wrong?
But he was convicted of something. Hunter Biden did do something wrong. Okay. But we're not claiming that just because it is the case that they've pardoned someone who's a criminal who's committed a crime that we had such a big issue with it. The original reason as to what we were talking about was Donald Trump pardoning violent rioters. And the reason why we're talking about that is because we're saying that it then means that he condones the violent crimes. Okay? I'll give you an example. If a president, right, pardoned, right, like a pedophile that raped a child, would you say that means that they condone or condemn the rape?
So so I'm pretty sure if a president raped a child, they wouldn't be allowed to be president.
This guy's an idiot. I'm listen to what I'm saying. Listen, I didn't say that. Okay. You
said if this guy who raped a child.
Listen, the president. I'll try to make it clear because maybe the words I'm using are confusing you. The president.
You word for word said.
Hey, dude.
Okay.
Hey.
Okay, I'll let you go.
The president pardoned someone who murdered a child. Okay. Does that mean they condone or condemn the murdering of that child?
Where is the proof of the murder of the child? It's one of those made-up articles that you always be talking about.
This is a hypothetical.
Hey, dude.
It's a hypothetical to demonstrate a concept to you, okay? This didn't
Okay, so
happen
if
in
it's
reality.
hypothetical, okay, so
It's
we're
a
talking hypothetical now.
Yeah.
If, okay. So go on with the question.
If the president, like not talking about Trump, some other president, like in history, pardoned someone who murdered a child, would that mean that they condemn or condone the murdering of that child?
You condone.
You mean condemn, right? They're against it, or no, condone.
No.
Sorry, yeah, you are right. Condone. They are in support of it, right?
Yeah.
If they pardon it, that means they're in support of it. They wanted that to happen. Okay. Donald Trump pardoning people who assaulted police officers. That means that he condones or condemns that behavior.
So okay, so does Biden pardoning Hunter Biden mean he... Wait, no, this is the same thing. It goes both ways.
We'll talk about it in a second. Yes.
I'm not trying to be a hypocrite here. This is what I'm
Joe
saying.
Biden does condone the things that Hunter Biden did. Now, please, can you answer my question?
All right, hold on. So that's you saying Biden could... Okay, pardoning him makes him condone it.
Wow, dude. I can't believe it's taking this long. Okay. Did you hear what I said? Did you hear what we were talking about?
What?
Oh my god, dude. I'll start again. Okay? All right. You believe that pardoning a certain crime means that they condone that crime. Okay? Donald Trump pardoning people who assaulted police officers on January 6th and were convicted of it. Does that mean he condones or condemns the behavior?
I already answered that, and you're just asking the same question.
He condones it, right?
And yeah, and like I said, this goes both ways on both parties.
Then let me make my point. Let me fully make my point here.
You're only one-sided on this.
No, I'm not. Let me fully make my point. If Donald Trump pardoned the violent rioters on January 6th who beat police officers, and that means he condones the behavior, that means that he is responsible for inciting a violent insurrection at the Capitol because he did not condemn the violence. He condoned it.
And this goes back to...
He wanted it to happen.
No, if he wanted it to happen, then why'd he offer to send National Guard and Nancy Pelosi not send that? And then this goes back to you not knowing what she did, even what her role was, and that she had full authority to send National Guards. Why didn't she?
She didn't. I can send you a fact check from AP News right now indicating that's not true. Would you like to
I could send you one too. It goes both ways.
Provide me a source. Provide me a single source that indicates that she did have the authority to do that. Go ahead. I'll wait.
I don't like. How would I show it on the
swipe
thing?
out.
I can't just...
All you have to do is you swipe out of the app. You go and find it. You remember the title. You come back into the app so that you can see me, and you tell me. Just make sure every minute and a half or so that you
So
come
once
back.
again, this is where it goes both ways. There's going to be one saying this, and there's going to be one saying that.
No, there won't. Go ahead and find it. Just find me one source that says what you just said.
I could find it. I'm just not going to... I already know it's true. And once again, I'm not going to go out my way to show you. You could look it up yourself and find it.
Hey, you'd made the claim, and I want you to find the source for that claim.
You made one too. Once again, it goes both ways. You made a claim too.
What claim did I make?
And you're not showing me one.
Do you want me to show you the AP
like
News
I
article?
said, I mean, like we're talking right now. I'm not trying to close my app or swipe out the app to do something else or whatever and stuff. Like I said, her authority was that she couldn't have sent National Guard, and she refused to. You saying wanting that to happen is like saying she wanted it to happen too because it looked bad on his part.
Hey, dude,
she wanted it to happen by not sending it.
Hey, man. I'm giving you the ability right now to go look up the source to show me that you found this information, because I can show you right now from AP News that you're wrong. And this is it right now. Do you see this? This is from AP News.
Blurry. All right, hold on. False. So once again, it's word versus word. News stations, so it's like saying if I said everything...
Hey.
Wait, hold on. So AP News is your source of...
Okay, you're going to get muted now because you're being really disingenuous, okay? I'm giving you the ability to go find the source if you'd like to. AP News is my source. Absolutely. It's a nonpartisan source, okay? So now go find your source, come back into the app, and then tell me the title. Is that okay? Okay, is that okay?
Oh, I could unmute now. Okay. I thought you had me muted. Well, still asking me the question. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to get at. You showing me something off of AP News is like saying I could pull something off of Fox News. Does
No,
everything
it's not. Fox and AP
Fox
are not
News
comparable, but even find me a Fox article that
they're
says
both
that. You
new?
won't.
Okay. I'm just saying like this
You won't
goes
even
both
be able
ways.
to find me a
There's two-
Fox News article that says that.
Oh my god. See, you gotta like it really goes both ways, I'm telling you. There's plenty of news stations that say this. There's plenty of news stations that say this.
Then find me one.
No, because it doesn't matter. It's word versus word. I could find you one of a Republican news station saying this and versus that. It's word versus word.
You just keep saying it's word versus word. Who is the word of AP News up against?
Just any. I'm saying it goes party versus party for news stations or whatever.
So AP News is going up against Trust Me, Bro. Okay, that's your source. Your source is Trust Me, Bro.
And yours isn't?
I just gave you a source.
I could find one or whatever off of anything. It doesn't
Go
mean
ahead.
it's always
Find
true.
me one.
No, it
Go
could
find
be
me
made
one.
up.
AP News is reputable. It's nonpartisan. If you would like to, by the way, this isn't just AP News that said this. I can show you PolitiFact. I could show you The Hill, The Dispatch, Knoxville News, Snopes, The Atlanta Journal, the NPR. I mean, I can Reuters, PBS. I mean, I can keep going. So, and by the way, I just letting you know, I can't hear you while you're out of the app. Just letting you know. So just make sure to, before you say anything, come back into the app to tell me.
I was gonna say I'm finding it right now, and then I'll see how this shared.
Go ahead and find it. Go ahead and find it. I'll thank some people in the meantime.
Okay.
Sarah, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you. Kayla, thank you so much for the $10. Give me some W's for Kayla in the comment section right now. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Sarah and Kayla, thank you so much. Give me some W's for them in the comment section right now. As well as Manuel, thank you so much for the $5. Larry with the $2. Brian with the $2. Thank you so much. Larry with another $2. Catherine with the $10. Thank you so much, Catherine. I really appreciate it. Autumn with the $2. Thank you. Jeff, thank you so much for the $2. Thank you. Autumn with the $5. Gradients with the $5. Martin, thank you for the $2. Red with the $5. Diana, thank you so much for the $5. Mactastic, thank you for the $2. Jeff with the $2. Thank you. Mutant with the $5. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Let me thank some people also on Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal. If you want to support me, as always, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, link in the bio, as well as the description of YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat and in the pinned comment on my YouTube. I just got a harassment and bullying flag. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know why. Estella, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you so much, Estella. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Guadalupe, thank you so much. I appreciate the $1.50. Thank you. Christina with the $20. Thank you so much, Christina. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Create some W's for Christina in the comment section right now. Thank you so much, Christina. And Greg with the 2 G's for the $250 on PayPal. Thank you so much. Can we get some W's for Greg with 2 G's in the comment section right now for the $250 on PayPal? Holy shit. W's for Greg in the comment section right now. Greg with 2 G's. Thank you so much for the $250 on PayPal. Holy shit. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. As well as Meredith, thank you for the $1 for it. Says on the DC National Guard website, only the president can call them in. Alfred, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Owen, thank you for the $1. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. We'll give him a second to find this information. Just letting you know, guest, every about a minute and a half or so, just make sure to come back into the app so that you can see me and then go back out and you can keep looking for it. Did you find the information?
Yeah, okay. So you said, okay. So once again, this goes to who could send the National Guard. It also says that governor could send National Guard too. So why didn't the governor?
What's your title? There's no governor for DC, right?
Not of DC, but there is of the state.
Okay, and DC is under its own. DC is under its own jurisdiction. There's no governor, so the acting governor of DC is the president, right? Do you think DC is a state?
No, it's not a state. I didn't say it was a state, but once again, like Nancy Pelosi, if she wanted to, she could have sent National Guards. No. A lot of people have the
again. What was your source for that? What was your source for that?
You could just look it up. I mean, I don't know how to. I'm not gonna screenshot. I don't know how to display it on screen. I don't know how to. You could look it up. Who? It's not just president who has authority of National Guard.
Josh,
it has
thank
to
you for the
get
$10.
approved.
Thank you. You telling me to look it up? I did, and I proved you wrong. I showed you that the source
has
indicated
to-
you wrong.
It has to find me something that says that like.
Me and thank you for the $5.
Only
Find me something that
president has
supports your
authority.
position. Are you really asking me to find something that supports your position? I can't. I've been looking for it. I can't find shit.
I literally just saw it.
Go ahead and then go ahead and find it. Tell me the title if you can remember.
You just look it up.
No, you have to tell me the title
You
for me to
literally
look it
just
up.
look it up. It's
You
not
have
an article. It's
you have
not,
to tell
it's
me the
not
title
word
to look it
versus
up,
word, it's
right?
Articles.
You have to tell me
You
the
just
title to look it
up,
up, right?
Just look up who could send National Guard and
I
who has
did.
to.
I did, and
approve
it indicated that Pelosi had no authority.
No, that was an article.
That's again. I looked it up, and also again, I just
It's
told
from
you
it's from a
the
different.
DC National Guard
site of a-
website indicates this too. Person of the Galaxy, thank you. How do you feel about the DC National Guard website indicating that the only the president can call them in?
And that's on the website
Yeah, it is.
where they say
And how do you feel about Trump?
How
How do you feel about Trump himself saying that he can release the National Guard in DC and actually doing it? How do you feel about that? Because he did so now. Hasn't he been sending out the DC? Didn't he do that, right? Wasn't he responsible for that?
It has to get approved by a bunch of different stuff too.
Who approved it?
The fucking the Capitol, there's people in it that have to approve that before
Who?
you just go send out
Who
National
has to
Guard.
approve it? Can you tell me who has to approve it? Christian, think of this subscription.
Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi was. You're saying she was the Speaker of the House that has to approve it now?
You didn't even know what she was till now, apparently.
I did.
I asked her what role did she have, and you didn't know off the top of your head.
I literally said it. I said it. I said it then. I said the head of the House, which is the Speaker of the House.
Right off the top of your head, or did you have to look it up?
No, I said that off the top of my head.
Okay, what's also something
do you think Nancy Pelosi is the current Speaker of the House?
No, not right now.
Okay, so then she obviously wouldn't be the one to say that this is true now, right?
This is back. So this is going back to like 2020, 2021? Yeah, January 6th. Yeah. So this is going back to 2021.
Tristan, I don't want to be rude to you, but you genuinely might be one of the dumbest people I've ever talked to. Like, I'm just gonna be totally honest. You might be one of the dumbest people I've ever talked to.
It's word versus word. You just go off of articles that you see. Not everything that you see on the internet's true, Parker.
Hey, I get that. I totally agree with you. Not everything you see on the internet's true, but I just gave you a source from a reputable institution on the internet.
And does that mean it's true?
You can't even
because it's
find
off
me
the
a
internet?
tweet. You can't even find me a Twitter post.
Because it
that
doesn't make it
indicates this.
true. It's word versus word.
Okay, so then you don't take
It's
any
believe-
sources.
it's-
I have a question then. Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Okay. Do you believe that Donald Trump released the National Guard?
On when are we talking?
Like under his administration so far in 2025.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, he just did.
How do you know that he did that? Were you there?
No, but he had obviously it has to get approved.
So then
It
did
has
you
to
rely
get
on
approved,
someone's
but-
so did you rely on someone's word that happened?
Yeah, it's word versus word.
Okay, and there's some
I'm just going
indicating
off of
factor.
what I
Wait, to
believe and
clarify. And there's some indicating factor to you that allowed for you to differentiate between words to determine which words made sense and had evidence behind them and which words didn't, right? And the words that I brought up with AP News, they have evidence behind them. The words you brought up have no fucking evidence, and they're just based in a trust me, bro. Straight up, just trust me, bro. You have no source, you have no evidence, you have no basis to your words.
Once again, it's article versus article. I don't know the people making your articles. I don't know the people making any of the articles personally.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
You
where they
believe
get
the articles that
information.
indicate that Trump sent out the National Guard, right? You
No, I'm not a hypocrite.
Do you
I
believe
don't-
Trump
it
is
goes
president?
both ways.
Wait. Do you believe Trump is president?
Yeah.
How do you know? Was that reported on?
Yeah. It's literally. I mean,
So, wait,
do you
who
believe?
do you-
wait,
wait.
hold on, do you believe he's president?
Yes, but that's because
Okay.
wait.
So where do
again,
you? Where?
Again, we can determine based upon reputable sources.
Okay, so him being president is just fact.
Hey, listen. There's
Hey, hey,
people.
hey.
There are people claiming, using their words, that Trump lost the 2024 election. Okay, do you agree that it is the case that just because people, with their words, say that he lost, doesn't mean that that's true?
It's at that point. So you're going into the beliefs of like if what people believe really happened, what people like you think's true or not. Like I said, it goes both ways. People saying he lost, people saying he didn't.
Exactly.
Is there
And we
any
rely-
actual
exactly? And
proof?
we
There
rely
was
on-
proof though, and there was proof of like ballots being thrown away, shredded. There was camera footage.
So you're saying
of
you rely on
that.
evidence. So again, when I ask you, what is your evidence specifically for saying that Nancy Pelosi had the authority to withhold the National Guard from going into D.C.? What is your source that indicates that to be true?
So what is your evidence that it? What is your evidence that it did?
I've just told you, AP News article that I've already sent you multiple times. I've already told you what it is. I have already shown you on the screen.
This is going to AP News and any news station. They could just make they could say whatever the hell they want.
No, they can't. They actually cannot. They actually cannot. They can't
Okay, so
make up
is
whatever they
Fox
want.
News? So is Fox News or just any of those Republican news stations saying what they want? Does that make it all true?
No, it's not just based upon what they say. They have evidence that backs it up. They cite certain things. And also, like I
So
said,
how
it's not
can't they
just,
say whatever they?
Hey dude, like I said, it's not just AP News that indicates this. It was also literally the National Guard website. I literally already went over this. The DC National Guard website indicated this to be true. AP News indicated this to be true. Can you accept any of those?
No, because it goes back to like it's AP News. AP News could say
Prescott, think of the
anything
$5.
they
Okay,
want. And then
it's not just AP
true.
News. What about the DC National Guard? Can the DC National Guard say everything they want? Anything they want?
Can't say everything they want or
Okay,
anything
so if
they want.
if the DC National Guard indicates that Pelosi did not have the authority to do that, would you agree that it is the case that he does not have that she did not have the authority?
Then who had authority?
Trump.
And where's that proof that he 100% had authority to send them? Who has to approve it?
The DC National Guard website says that.
And when did that okay, so when did that get made?
This is currently under the Trump administration. It says currently under the Trump administration, right? Under the DC National Guard website,
There
that
needs
the
to be
president
context
has
in
the
it.
authority. What is up with the guest today? Like, dude, I'm sorry. Like, are you okay? Like, genuinely, are you okay right now? No, I'm not. I am actively. I am actively
You're like
losing.
steaming out the head.
I am
dude.
actively losing brain cells by the second. Okay. Jeez, dude.
Talking
Alfred, thank you so
faster
much for pushing the
doesn't mean
$5. Sarah with the
you know what you're
$5. Thank
talking
you. Oh
Because
my
all
god,
you've
dude.
gone off of since I've been on the live is talking faster, talking over.
I've talked
muting.
slower for you. I talked slower for you. Lorna, think of that $1.30.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You need. I'm saying talking faster doesn't make you more knowledgeable or going
never
off
said
of
it did.
everything.
I
You
never
go
once
off of
said
is
that it
word
did.
versus word.
Resurrection, thank you.
There's not anything that has 100% percent proof that you've said is true. It's just all word
the
versus
DC
word.
National Guard website. Can you give me a piece of evidence you would accept?
Seeing proof, evidence, video, camera. It's like going back to
How do you see video camera of
you think there was
the
any
law?
election fraud?
How
in
do you see
2020?
video camera of the law? What the fuck are you talking about, bro? The video camera
You
of
see-
the law? How do they? How does that happen? They video camera the law like it's a person that's doing something. Like, what? It's the law, dude. It says it in the fucking law. The DC National Guard is reporting on what the law is. Okay. You're not gonna video record the law. What are you talking about, bro? This isn't video game high school, bro. Okay. The law isn't a person. Okay.
Okay, so let's get back. Okay. It's hard talking to you, bro. That's
Yeah,
just
because I have facts and you have nothing.
just facts. Articles aren't facts.
Okay, I didn't show you articles. I showed you the DC National Guard. Are you just trolling at this point? You have got to be trolling at this point. There's no way.
No, I'm being so for real. Like,
Okay, well, I just want to let you know, you have about 5 seconds to acknowledge that you're trolling before I kick you.
No, I'm not. And that's like I said, we could get on topic. Let's bring up another topic because this is going nowhere. I want to bring up let's get.
I'm sorry. What topic do you think I could even change your mind on if you don't even engage with this point? I genuinely couldn't.
Because this is just going in loops.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're an idiot.
It's.
Let's go on to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the screen, everyone. We are just looking for some debates. If you're on YouTube, make sure to hit that thumbs up, everyone. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. It will help get it out to more people. Let's go on to the next person. Wobbly, thank you so much. I appreciate the $10. Thank you. Jay, thank you for the $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Jay. Can we get some W's for Jay in the comment section as well? Thank you so much, Dr. Jay. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go on to the next person. By the way, everyone, we have about another... 2 hours and 10 minutes or so left on the stream, everyone. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the screen, everyone. I'm going to be doing solo debates for the rest of today, everyone. Tomorrow, I might be doing some co-hosts maybe in the morning if someone decides to come on. I'll be on early tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific time, just letting everyone know. So I'll be on super early tomorrow. Tashid, thank you so much. I appreciate the $2. Thank you. Yo, what's up,
Hey, what's up, fella? Hello? 40 years old.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Why is that?
Because he is an honest man and he is bringing our country to proper success that we have not been seeing in a couple years, decades, I'd say.
Okay. What success has he brought us?
He's moving us forward. He's gaining alliances with the Russians, etc., that we hadn't had before, and he's putting his people first. He's stopping down the illegal migrants. He's putting a stop to that with ICE. He's getting a hold on that.
Can you speak in your normal voice?
This is my normal voice, sir.
For some reason, everyone thinks you have a troll voice. I don't think we're all wrong.
Because I'm in the bathroom and do you hear me echoing a little bit? Is that why?
No, it's everyone in the chat, including myself, thinks that you're using a fake voice as a troll right now.
This is my real voice, sir. I can't really modify it more to be more amenable. You want me to slow down my speaking, sir? You're not going to address my points?
If I am wrong, I feel really bad, by the way, but I think I'm not wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong. Yo, what's up? How old are you? How old are you? Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria on the screen, everyone. Again, everyone, we're going to be doing solo debates for the rest of today and tomorrow. I will be on super early, everyone. Super early. We got another 2 hours and 7 minutes or so left on the stream, everyone. Alrighty, let's go on to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the screen, everyone. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
100% wrong, Parker. You know what I'm talking about.
What'd you say?
You're 100% wrong. You don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay, why am I wrong?
Because your narrative doesn't make any sense. You're technically a liberal little backboner.
Are you Canadian?
Yep, I'm Canadian. What's your point?
Okay, well, bye-bye. Get your own fascist, buddy. Go get your own fascist, bro.
Yo.
What's up? How old are you?
I'm 20.
What's your birth year?
Bro, everybody you asked, you're the only person that has asked me.
Okay, well, I'm going to kick you because you got mad that I asked you what your fucking year of birth is. I ask everyone on the stream because I'm clarifying people's age. So, Bye-bye. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria on the screen. Tyrell, thank you so much for the $7. I know it was true though. Like I don't know, man. That was so ridiculous. Angel with the $2, thank you. Grace with the $7, thank you so much, and Jack with the $5, thank you. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the screen. Alrighty, let's go to the next person here. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria on the screen, everyone. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the screen. We are just looking for some debates. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, everyone, for the 3.4 thousand people here. Make sure to hit that thumbs up, everyone. Helps get it out to more people. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Hello? Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the screen, everyone. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 20. 04.
What's your birth year?
04.
What month?
December.
Okay, and do you sport... Oh, weren't you just on the live?
Yeah, but I'm saying my birth year now.
Okay.
I only got... Can I tell you why I got mad? Because I've been watching you since the past 10 minutes. You have not asked anybody their birth year. That's one reason I got mad.
I asked every single person that came up on my stream.
No, that 40-year-old kid, whatever, you asked him how old he was. He said 40, and then you didn't ask his birth year.
If he's 40, I'm not going to ask what his birth year is.
Well, he literally sounded like a kid, and your whole chat.
He did not. No. If they sound like a
he
child,
had
I
a
would
troll
ask.
Voice.
By the way,
he had a troll voice.
You mean the country person?
No, the troll voice guy that said he was in the bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was a troll anyway.
Oh. Okay, well, anyway. I want to know your stance on trans people.
Well, do you support Donald Trump?
I do, yeah.
Trans people's identity, they're valid. And they deserve not to be politicized. So let's not do that here for you. Like, don't do that. So let's bring this up. Name one reason why you support Donald Trump.
Deportation.
Okay.
Do you agree with that?
Can you name one way that mass deportation benefits our society?
Well, I know you're going to say this, but I'm going to say it. Jobs.
It doesn't. It actually reduces
how
many
does,
jobs there are.
They're taking our jobs from.
No, they're not.
American citizens.
So no,
they're illegal.
So no, the one thing you have to take into account is that there are more people coming to the country that increases demand for goods and services, which therefore increases the amount of jobs that are supplied in the economy to fulfill that level of demand within the economy. You reduce how many people are in the country, that then lowers the demand within the country and reduces how many jobs there are. So the idea that, one, immigrants are taking your jobs is not based in any evidence. And two, do you think that legal immigrants are taking your jobs?
They're legal. It doesn't matter.
Okay, so then let's provide a legal path. If you think that undocumented immigrants are taking jobs, documented immigrants are not taking jobs, then provide documentation to the undocumented immigrants if they've not committed a violent crime or bad crime, because that would prevent them from quote-unquote stealing jobs. It would increase the amount of jobs in our society, decrease the crime rate, and make our society better off in terms of GDP overall. The immigration surge that we saw under the Biden-Harris administration is going to lead to an $8.9 trillion increase in the GDP by 2034, according to the Congressional Budget Office, which is a nonpartisan committee from the federal government.
Okay. Well, I care about the jobs, but I care more importantly that they're hiring illegal immigrants. Yeah, they're doing a good thing, but it's the fact that they're illegal and they're allowed to have a job, which I don't like. That's the only part I don't like. Yeah, I'm okay with legal immigrants having jobs. I don't care for that. But the people that are illegal, why should they have a job? Like, they already came in this country the wrong way. Why should they have a job? Why should we grant them a job if they didn't even do the process? That makes no sense to me.
So, then you want to hold the business owners accountable?
Like, of what?
So do you want to hold the businesses accountable for hiring people that are in the country undocumented?
Yeah.
Okay. So then,
But do you
for
agree with
example,
that? What I
given that
said?
Donald
Do
Trump
you
has
agree?
hired undocumented immigrants, would you like to hold Donald Trump accountable?
Okay, but can you first say, can you agree or disagree? What I said?
With what point?
With that, it's wrong that we're granting them jobs when they came in the wrong way. Like they shouldn't have a job.
No,
We
I think
shouldn't
they.
grant them a
I think they
job.
should. I think that they should be given a pathway to citizenship if they haven't committed a violent crime or bad crime, and I think they should be able to
And how many
allowed to
years
work
do
in
you
the
think
country.
that? How many years?
How many years? What do you mean?
Like how many years do they have to be in the country to give them a pathway to citizenship?
I would just say anyone who's in the country who hasn't committed a violent crime or bad crime.
And what do you consider a violent or bad crime?
A violent crime, or a crime that's so bad that someone should be deported. Oh, they just got removed for community guidelines. It could have been. It literally could have been their age. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. And also, just to let everyone know in the comment section, if they lie, and I don't know, don't just spam the comment section because it can just get people banned on my live, which affects my account. Just letting people know. So if you don't know and you're just assuming because they sound young, I mean, generally, unless it's the beginning, like when I'm first determining whether or not I'm going to kick them off, don't do it throughout the whole debate because like there's really no benefit. Mutant, thank you for the $2. Thank you. Nat, thank you for the $10 as well. Thank you so much, Nat. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Kevin, thank you for the $5. I know, right? Jack, thank you for the $5 as well. Angel, I'm so sorry about that. I feel you on that. Let's go on to the next person here. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the screen. Sorry, everyone. Let's go on to the next person. How many likes are we at on YouTube, everyone? How many likes are we at on YouTube? Alrighty, let's go on to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Yo, what's up? How old are you? Alrighty. 1.5K. Everyone keep tapping that screen or hit that like button. Everyone, if you're on YouTube, you can close the chat. Hit that like button. It seriously helps send it out to more people. And I think we can easily get to 3,000 by today, everyone. We have about 2 hours or so left on the live, everyone, because we switch to 5 hours every single day. So we have about a little less than 2 hours. So make sure to hit that like button, everyone. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
What's up, Parker?
How old are you?
I'm 23, turning 24 in October.
For sure. What's your birth year?
01.
For sure. Why do you support Trump?
Well, I mean, I actually don't. I just had a question for you because I'm a huge fan. If you just let me ask this.
I appreciate you very much. There are a bunch of other people that do want to ask me questions, and if I did let you, a bunch of other people will go in the comment section and it will, or in the guest box, and it'll incentivize them to do the same thing. Brandon, thank you for the $5. So I do have to go to the next person to not incentivize that to happen. You know, every once in a while I'll do Q&As. Maybe here pretty soon I'll do a Q&A or something. If I have some time till like tomorrow night or like the day after that or the day after that, I might. Or it would either be the 9th or the 10th. Because I'm going to be not on live the 10th for normal live. I'm taking that day off. Thank you for the rose. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, by the way. But I will be on tomorrow really early. Like I'm going to be on 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, everyone, Pacific time, until around like a little bit before 1. So like 12:45, something like that, because I have to leave. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Someone said stop kicking off your fans. I'm sorry. There's a bibliography. I mean, not a bibliography. That's crazy. There's a set of criteria on the screen. If anyone is specifically like a fan and joining the stream, that means they don't meet that set of criteria. Yo, what's up, how old are you? No, I'm going to miss your live. By the way, the lives do show up on YouTube. You can check them out after the stream. Like, if you ever miss a live on YouTube, there's the full VOD from the stream. So, I would actually recommend to check that out if you want to. And I also post videos, too. Bibliography. I know, right? That was brutal. Not me saying bibliography. Parker got on a muscle shirt. That it would be if I actually had muscles. If I actually have muscles, like, you know, maybe then it would be. I don't have anything. I look like SpongeBob, chat. I seriously look like SpongeBob. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria on the screen, everyone. I'm brutal, chat. I'm brutal. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I love you, Parker.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Let's go on to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria on the screen. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Okay, let's go on to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the screen, everyone. We are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Someone said it's way more Squidward. That's diabolical. Let's go to the next person. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 38.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Do you support Donald? How many Trump supporters does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Well, there's never been a specified number because it's impossible. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I love you, Parker.
How did you get added up twice? How was that even possible? Yo, what's up? How old are you? So the next person. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hey, what's up? I'm 32.
And do you support Donald Trump?
Yes, I do.
Okay. If you could go back in time and you could either vote for Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, who would you vote for?
Oh, Donald Trump again.
For sure. Is there a way you can turn off the background noise at all? I don't want to
yeah,
get some copyright on the stream.
Is this working?
Yeah, it's way better. Okay, so why do you support Trump?
So I would say my number one reason is because foreign policy with relations to being the lowest war option available.
Have I talked to you before?
No, but we met at Jubilee one time, but I've never been on one of your streams.
Oh, damn. Maybe that was where I remembered your voice from or something. What Jubilee were we on?
We cooked Jordan Peterson together.
Oh, okay. That's cool. That's cool. Okay. Okay, so yeah. So what was the reason why you support Trump again?
So it would be foreign policy, the lowest war candidate, yeah.
Lowest war candidate. Okay. All right, sure. Let's talk about that. Is that the only set of reasons as to why, or is that like the main?
Honestly, that's war is my number one. I have a couple other subsidiary issues, but I think war is probably the biggest one for me.
Okay. All right. And so like, could you give me any like specifics on that? Like, do you think that he's less likely to cause?
I think under Trump, twofold. I think one, he's not likely to like cause a war where we're going to get involved. And two, I think his perceived image as a, I mean, for lack of a better word, crazy strongman actually deters other countries from doing warlike efforts.
How is that done with Putin?
Well, I mean, didn't Putin go into Ukraine under Biden, not under Trump?
Well, that's not the claim I'm making. The claim I'm making is specifically that Trump, since he got in office, he lowered the funding with Ukraine, and they've gotten more power in Ukraine, particularly because of Donald Trump's position on the matter. So the idea of the crazy strongman deterring violence when it relates to Russia and Ukraine clearly didn't happen like he claimed it would.
Well, he didn't go into Ukraine under Trump. He went in under Biden. We then supported Ukraine through a proxy of like funding them with weapons and stuff, and Trump is withdrawing from that. I think that actually is probably the more viable path to peace, though. If what you want is peace, Ukraine's not going to defeat Russia. I don't think sending endless money and weapons to them so that they can keep throwing bodies into this war, I don't think that's a viable long-term strategy.
Then why is Trump doing it again?
Why is he sending? I thought you just said he was sending less money.
Yeah, he cut the funding and then he brought it back. So why did he bring it back if it is the case that he was going to cut them off to give them to Russia?
When did he bring it back? Was that in the new big beautiful bill thing that he passed?
I'd have to check back.
Because I was not aware he increased the funding.
Yeah, he did. I can send you if you'd like.
I mean, I'll try. If you look it up and you're looking at it, I'll trust you. But I just don't recall it happening.
I got you. May. Or no, July.
Okay.
July. Trump sends weapons to Ukraine by the numbers. It's from CSIS.
Okay. Yeah, then ultimately, I mean, I would support a withdrawal from the Ukraine situation. Admittedly, he inherited a pretty bad mess, right? Because we were already involved in sending. And a lot of the times it's really like a lesser of the two evils option of Biden is going to send weapons or Kamala would send weapons either way, right? So I guess I would look at the Iran strike, which I think was handled relatively well, or as well as you could hope for in that situation, where he eliminates Iran's nuclear facilities, but no one dies either way. We don't get attacked back, etc.
I don't think he did. I think he set them only back like a few months, according to U.S. intelligence reports, in terms of the Iran strike, and then he increased the likelihood of conflict in the long run. Plus, I think he was the reason why this happened in the first place by pulling out of the nuclear agreement that was established. And then in terms of sending weapons, you said like lesser of two evils, so like providing less weapons. Is that kind of like your view on the matter? You want less weapons?
Well, yeah, I think under Trump it's more likely the Ukraine conflict will end than under Biden or Kamala.
But by end, do you mean like Russia takes over Ukraine? Like, what do you mean by end?
Well, yeah, I mean, I really don't see an end other than Russia takes over Ukraine. Do you think there's a scenario where Russia just shrugs and goes home and says, I guess we lost?
Yeah, I actually genuinely do. I think that the West would be able to uphold Ukraine's ability to defend themselves against Russia to enough of a degree that like Russia wouldn't have been able to economically like maintain that in the long run. So it would have forced them into a condition where they couldn't take over the rest of Ukraine, or at least had to come to some type of table of negotiation. Otherwise, I don't think that you actually have this crazy strongman deterrence. Like, that doesn't happen. You have to actually have some actual true deterrence to be able to bring them to the table, because otherwise they're not going to come to the table unless they're the one taking it. Does it make sense? Like, I don't want them to take the table. I want them to be prevented from doing so. We have the Budapest Memorandum. If we didn't hold the Budapest Memorandum, how can any agreements be trusted around the world, given that we can't uphold ours?
Well, I mean, ultimately, I think the strongman deterrence doesn't apply as much to large powers like Russia and China, more to smaller powers like the Iran situation. I think the Russia situation, we're in a relatively bad place because we're not willing to escalate further, right? I don't foresee any president doing boots on the ground, right? Do you?
Oh, no. Like, the only way there would be, like, boots on the ground is if there is already peace and then they join NATO in order to, like, ensure that they have sovereignty. Right. Because that would be their essentially only insurance of sovereignty. Because they've seen...
Right, but obviously we couldn't...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we couldn't let them into NATO now, right? Obviously, we agree it's too late at this point in time. We would need there not to be a war before we let them in.
There would need to be some type of bringing them to the table. But the issue is that Trump put us into a position where it is the case that Russia has more power and they have less of a reason to come to the table. That's why we saw them not come to any type of agreement or negotiation that actually was meaningful.
Well, that, and I also think Russia's counting on our fatigue of not wanting to continue to send weapons to Ukraine, right?
Wait, there you go. You just proved my point that Putin is depending on you, is depending on Trump in order to be able to take, right, Ukraine. You just proved my point.
No, I agree with you. It's a battle of attrition. What's going to wane first, right? Russia's willing to fight or are willing to send troops. It's like a reverse Vietnam situation, right? Okay, and obviously we lost our Vietnam.
Go ahead.
We lost our Vietnam. I don't know that the Russians will lose theirs because I analogize this war to Vietnam in that we had massive protests at home. We had a huge pushback. I don't think Russia is seeing the level of protesting at home that we saw during Vietnam. So I don't think they're anywhere near done fighting. I think they've got several more years of the fight left in them, even if we were to keep sending weapons to Ukraine. How long do you think they would last if we kept sending? Do you think a few years is reasonable?
I don't think I can make that type of determination, right? I don't think I know. I don't think either of us would be able to know. I think that we're kind of just whipping that out of our ass, like being like it's going to be a few years. So like I don't really feel comfortable making that type of determination. But what I do feel comfortable with is saying that we would have a greater likelihood of forcing Russia into submission if it is the case that we didn't have Trump in office. Because Putin was relying on Republicans getting in office, and that makes him hold out for longer. If it is the case that he didn't, right, then he wouldn't have held out for as long, or it would have been more likely that he would have been turned away.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably truth to that. I guess I don't value the quote, like what you said, forcing Russia into submission. I don't value that at the current cost, which is a combination of large amounts of US dollars and large amounts of Ukrainian lives. I think that that is probably a not good trade from just an American perspective.
So are you trying to act like you have like a more pro-Ukraine position when they want to defend themselves still? Like, is it more pro-Ukraine to like say that? I mean, also, you can't limit Russia from murdering as many people as they want to if they have full control over the region.
Well, I don't think they want to just arbitrarily kill Ukrainians. I think they want to conquer Ukraine, right? So I think when you ask me if I'm pro-Ukraine,
why are they killing innocents?
Well, because there's a war, right? Like, I think occupation is different than war, right? People die in war. Occupation doesn't necessarily work the same way. So when you ask me if I'm more pro-Ukraine, I'm not more pro-Ukraine the government, but I do feel that I'm pro-Ukraine the people. So the government of Ukraine obviously would no longer exist if Russia occupied them, but it's not the case that like when a country conquers another one, all the people in there just are unalived immediately, right? That's not like the Mongol invasion happening.
Yeah, I'm not saying that that's like 100% for sure, but we can't have any type of assurances, right, on anything that could happen to Ukrainians. Ukrainians could, you know, be undergoing like incredibly like huge human rights violations, right? They could lose vast human rights. So that's another thing that we have to take into account is that Russia has full exclusive control over the region. Also, I mean, like, we've literally been able to provide a defense for other situations in Europe. I guess I have a question here. Would you want to be involved in NATO?
I would be willing to maintain involvement in NATO if I felt the other European countries were paying more of their fair share. So I agree with Trump's general NATO policy of somewhat blustering threat that we leave NATO in order to try to coerce our allies into contributing more and building up their own military. Because I just think we're doing too much work.
What is a fair share?
I mean, truthfully, I think that you should contribute what you get out, or at least proportionately. So I think Europe benefits far more from NATO than the United States does, and the United States pays way more proportionately than Europe. We should probably reverse that, or at the very least equalize it. Like, the entirety of Europe should be contributing at least as much as the United States.
EU as much as US. Okay. Okay, so you're still willing to stay involved in it, though. Okay, so then here's my question.
I'm open to it, but I'm not married to it, yeah.
Okay, but then here's my question. What's the point of staying in NATO? Like, the same types of reasons I would say that you are wanting to stay in Ukraine to be able to defend Ukraine would be the same very reasons we're in NATO, right?
Not exactly, because I think the Western European countries that were within NATO are very valued trading partners. And so if one of them were to fall, it would hurt us far more economically than if Ukraine fell.
Hurt us economically, but couldn't we then get benefits from engaging in more trade with Ukraine? And also, like, how do you measure that? How do you measure that Ukraine is going to be less or more important in terms of trading partner comparative to others? Like, what are you basing on? What type of trading? Like, is it GDP? How much they're trading, or how much they're importing or exporting?
Well, not GDP specifically, right? Because GDP is just how much stuff they make. I would just look at our trade amounts, like how many in US dollars measure how much we're trading with Ukraine compared to how much we trade with Germany.
Wait, so any country in NATO, because if Ukraine's trading with the United States is more than any country in NATO, then you would have to see that there's a better reason for Ukraine to be in NATO than there would be for any of those other countries. Then.
No, that's a fair point. So I guess you would also need to weigh not just how much does the country trade with us or benefit us in some way, but you also have to offset that by how much of a liability do they create, right? I think Portugal creates very low liabilities for us as a country, whereas if we were to try to let Ukraine in or any other Eastern European bloc or Taiwan or anything like that, they create more of a liability if we were to somehow let them in NATO, because although they may trade more, they also cost more.
But why do they cost more? Is it because they're at a threat of being invaded? Because they wouldn't be if
Correct.
they're in NATO.
Well, but that's not necessarily true, right?
Like, do you think Finland shouldn't have been able to join NATO?
I think it would depend on how likely are the Russians to invade Finland, right? Do they want to do a continuation war from the 1940s?
It's pretty high. That's why they joined. That's why they joined. It was pretty high.
I agree. And they also, but I mean, really, it's NATO joining is just like any other market transaction. You have to look at market power at the time. Didn't Finland join when they had better leverage to join, right? Like when we were more afraid of the Soviets. I don't view Russia as much of a threat now as they were in, say.
Finland joined in 2023.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, if you think Russia was going to invade Finland and they joined in 23, I think that's probably a mistake on our part. But that would have been Biden, right?
We should have just let them take Finland, dude. That's pretty unhinged.
Well, I mean, so what our options are? We provide free security services for every country in the world under the auspices of
It's not just
what?
free
Just because we
security
don't think any
services.
country should.
We have an incentive to have these types of agreements specifically with countries in Europe, and I think that it should be extended around the world because it is the case that it helps protect peace and sovereignty, and we believe in that. It helps protect democracy and individual rights, along with the idea that it specifically is really important for our trade partners. Like again, we would have significantly less of an ability to be able to trade with Europe if it was constantly fighting at war with Russia, because that's what would happen. If we don't involve ourselves with NATO, if we don't involve ourselves with Europe, that puts small European countries at very high risk of being taken over by Russia. And Russia will do it. You know they will. Do you actually? Let's try to establish that first. Do you agree with me that if NATO didn't exist, that Russia would be in free for all against all these different European countries?
I mean, it would definitely depend on the country. I think Eastern Bloc countries certainly were at risk. I don't think Russia's going to take France, right? So it's going to depend on the individual.
Sure. I mean, but the point is also true that we want to keep France, protected as well. Like the idea is that France in the past wasn't and was subject to the other powers such as Germany, and Germany did take over France.
Right, yeah, Germany took over France, but that's because they're right next door, right? I think geographic distance is one of the biggest factors for whether you're really in danger of being invaded by Russia. And then the second factor would be if you have nuclear weapons, right? So if you've got nukes, that's a pretty big deterrent.
But I think that NATO is a huge reason why these different countries aren't in conflict with one another and aren't in conflicts at all, right? Because it is the case.
Oh, that's an interesting point.
Yeah, because it is the case that it's established that sovereignty and peace within the region. And that's also why I think that this should be extended around the world, right? Like, I believe that it's very important for peace and sovereignty.
Yeah, no, I mean, I actually really like your point that NATO is probably the reason why the members of NATO are not at war with one another. It's essentially the pact, right? It's just how we've continued the allies from World War II beyond. And that's why I'm not opposed to NATO. I just think that what's wrong with asking Europe to pay more of its fair share, right?
I actually don't disagree with you on that. I think that getting them to pay more is totally fine, but I don't think that the threat of saying you're not in it is the way to do it. I think we can find other incentives for that. And also building up their economies also allows them to have a greater ability to do that. If we're judging it based upon the percentage GDP that they're using, if they have a bigger economy because we've been able to allow them to build it up, that also increases how much they can put into things. So, it's not just a right now we evaluate it based on that. We can look at the future, and we do see heavy increase in how much they've been spending, especially under Biden too. It continued that trend up. So I don't disagree that they should be putting in more. I think it's really important for their sovereignty that they do put in more. But simultaneously, I have to acknowledge that, the reasons as to why we have NATO, right, is the same reason as to why, we're wanting to, defend Ukraine. If, say, Ukraine was a different country, it was France, would you try to defend France, or would you let France be taken over by, a country, given that it would take just as long to defend France as it would take to defend Ukraine?
I mean, I think it's a harsh answer, but I would have to look at a case-by-case basis and assess how many lives, how much money would it cost to defend France? What is the likelihood that the aggressor from France will be an aggressor to America? Like in World War II, I think it was very clear the thing we were defending France from was clearly going to be a threat to us. So that's a different situation than a Russian incursion into Ukraine, where I don't foresee Russia attacking the United States. And if you do, then that's probably the source of our disagreement here.
But is Russia a threat to the United States at all?
I don't think Russia is a direct threat. I think they're a Cold War threat in the same extent that China might be. But I don't think either of those countries are going to ever launch any sort of attacks on us.
But they will on countries that we have agreements with to defend, right?
What do you think Russia's goal is? Just absolute domination of Europe, or do you think there's a logical place they might stop
Soviet
even
Union.
If we don't make them?
Putin wants to bring back the Soviet Union. So as much as he possibly can take back from the Soviet Union, he will. NATO prevents him from doing that, though.
East Germany.
I don't know if he would go to East Germany, but he'd probably establish pretty similar to what existed prior to that point. But if he could, he probably would. I don't know. I don't know, but I do know he wants to build something that's similar to the USSR. Do I know what borders of the USSR he's trying to recreate? No, but I know it's not just like Russia. It is extending, So it does put
sure.
at risk our allies, people we care about, trade relations, international influence, soft power that the United States has. I mean, there's plenty of things that puts at risk. So, I mean, in the same way that we care about NATO, I think that's a pretty good reason for Ukraine. But I mean, this point I feel isn't much disputed by Trump. Even Trump upholds that we need to defend Ukraine. He just did so through a more lackluster way of defending them, because he brought it back later. So I actually don't know if this argument would be like a reason as to why you could say you support Trump if you're going to be using this position.
Well, so, I mean, you're right, because Trump is limited in what he can do in the Ukraine situation, right? Because the support for Ukraine is not entirely his choice since it's economic. Congress is going to have most of the control of that anyways.
But he's also said that he wants that as well.
Right. I mean, I think, truthfully, I think he's traded some of it to get other policies like in his other funding bills. But so let's focus on one that's more his control, right? The Iran strike.
Maybe do you think he realized that he couldn't get a negotiation with Putin right now, and that's why he put the funding back?
That's very possible. I mean, he met with Putin in Alaska, and I mean, we don't know what happened in the room, but it's very possible it didn't go well.
Yeah, not just then, but like even prior. Like obviously it didn't go well then because he talked about how, Putin and Xi Jinping were meeting up and conspiring against the US. So clearly it didn't go very well.
That's possible, but that would seem contradictory to the general narrative that like Russia really was like wanting Trump. They were banking for Trump. He's a Russian agent. Any of those claims is kind of undermined if like his negotiations with Putin aren't going well, right? I don't know how both of those could be true simultaneously.
No, the reason why that's true is because Putin gets more power. The negotiations are a smokescreen so that he could get more power. That's what I think.
Oh, so like Trump is intentionally just flubbing them or just saying, hey, we're not reaching peace and then just letting Putin do whatever?
No, Putin is. Putin is using it in order to con Trump. And I think he successfully conned Trump into believing that there was a possible deal on the line in order to get him to like essentially put his guard down.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's definitely very possible. I mean, look, while I do support Trump, I don't think he's some omnipotent genius, right? I mean, he's just a politician that I think is doing his best in the situation of foreign policy. And Vladimir Putin is likely more experienced. But again, I go back to lesser evil. There's no part of me thinks Kamala would be handling the situation particularly better. So I still end up skewing Trump support. Like if I have to pick who do I want negotiating with Vladimir Putin, I probably would still pick Donald Trump over Kamala for negotiating that.
Kamala, but there's not much of it. I mean, there's no difference in negotiations because it is the case that he's not going to negotiate until he's forced into that position and actually give up anything. He's only going to negotiate and concede to something if it inevitably gives him what he wants, right? Which we know what he wants is like a forceful, murderous dictator.
Well, yeah, it's that or until he hits the Vietnam point where he's just forced to withdraw or make some sort of concession, right?
That's kind of what I thought was going to happen, given that we continued our funding. Like, if Harris were in office, we would have continued the funding. I think she would have been stronger against Putin.
So I guess we're running into this point where... Well, you said Putin wouldn't have negotiated. How would Kamala have done better in the negotiations with someone who won't negotiate?
Yeah, I said negotiations once they get down to the table, right? You were saying, like... The idea is that if there were negotiations, right, that Kamala Harris would be better than Trump in the context of there being negotiations. I don't think there would be negotiations as of right now, but I would think that there would be negotiations within the next 4 years, given that we continued our funding up and we were, strong against Russia. That would bring down Putin into a position where he has to negotiate, right? That's what I was talking about earlier, where like he would be forced into like conditions where he has to negotiate.
Do you think so? It sounds like we're kind of hitting on this point where Trump is more or less doing what you think Kamala would have done with regards to the funding, right?
He's doing lesser than what Kamala would have done. Which
you think she would have increased funding beyond?
Yeah, like I mean, she would have continued it throughout the entire time. Trump got rid of it and then brought it back. So she would have never got rid of it in the first place, which would have bolstered us into a better position.
Okay, but Trump got rid of it for what, like 2 months?
It was like it was in July, so that was like near 5 months, 6 months or something like that. I'd have to check back when he like originally got rid of it. Okay. I assume it was like right when he got in office, when he got rid of the funding. I'm pretty sure it was like within like the first week or something. But yeah, like so I mean here's my points then. I was like, it doesn't seem like Trump is so like amazing on foreign policy that he's reduced reduced wars that are happening around the world. It's not like we're getting anything unique from him. I don't think that we'd be able to point to any policy that uniquely would happen with him versus like wouldn't happen if Harris were in office. So that's why I don't think foreign policy, like especially with the disagreements that we have, would be able to provide you enough of a reason to like vote for one side over the other. And it seems like maybe like there'd be other things that you'd bring up that would be doing a lot more of the heavy lifting on the back end in terms of your.
Well, I can get to those in a second, but part of it is Trump's first term was also one of the few terms of a U.S. president where we didn't engage in any new wars or conflicts. So I am giving him credit for his first term where we didn't go to new wars. And admittedly, his first term, I think, was better than his second in terms of like peace, right? His work with Kim Jong-un in North Korea was pretty good. Like, we've eliminated threats off the table in a peaceful manner. I was hoping for more of that second term. I mean, we're barely into his second term, so I'm not writing it off, but I want kind of more of that diplomacy. And having an American president that doesn't start a war is generally a rare find, so I kind of support that too.
What do you mean by we don't go into wars? If you mean like aiding and abetting in a war, I mean Trump did that under his administration with Saudi Arabia and Yemen, where they literally had a blockade around Yemen that starved and bombed 70,000 Yemeni children. So there were things that he was involved in that Biden dismantled and didn't want to be a part of. And then, also, that there's a Turkish-Kurdish war because he pulled out of Kurdistan with our Kurdish allies after they helped us fight ISIS.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not counting aiding and abetting. I'm counting new direct strikes of some sort. Otherwise, you would say that Biden was aiding and abetting in the Gaza conflict, and I doubt you would consider Biden aider and abetter for the Gaza thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not pro-Israel. I'm pro-Palestine, so we can talk about that. And I have disagreements with both sides on that. But the point then would be that Trump then went into war then under that notion, right?
Trump went to war
Iran?
where?
When he bombed Iran?
Well, he did a single strike. So that's actually one I do want to address. So I think Trump's strike on Iran was probably the best outcome you could hope for from a U.S. president, given the situation, right? So given that Iran was lobbing missiles into Tel Aviv and that the city was getting rained on with missiles, the fact that all Trump did was bomb a single facility where no one died and then Iran retaliated and no one died is got to be the best outcome I've seen for that situation, right? I understand you're not pro-Israel. I'm actually not particularly pro-Israel either, but accepting that if Israel is being bombed from Iran, a U.S. president must retaliate. I think I would challenge you to think of a better way to handle that, right?
I don't think a U.S. president must retaliate. I mean, I would disagree, especially if Harris did that as well. But I don't think this brings you the idea that he's not going to go into wars based upon the definition of war that you're bringing up in terms of bombing each other. That does say that he is willing to even start those things. And that's also a byproduct of what he originally went against, the nuclear agreement that we had with Iran. That would have prevented us from striking them, right?
I mean, the nuclear agreement that I don't think Iran was following, I think would have prevented us from striking them.
How were they not following it? They were determined under Trump's administration to. He even signed off on that they were following it under his first term.
Right, but okay, sorry, not the nuclear. So we couldn't have struck them over the nuclear thing, and I understand the pretext for it was we can't let them have a bomb, but we clearly struck them because they were bombing Israel, right? I mean, we can agree on that. That's clearly what happened.
Wait, restate that, sorry?
So I understand the pretext for why we attacked Iran was because we were saying they can't have a nuclear bomb. But I think you and I both understand we really attacked them because they were bombing Israel, right? That's a realistic assessment of the situation.
I actually I'm not quite sure what would be more of an influencing factor as to why, but sure, that could be some part of it. Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is I don't think it would matter whether that Iran nuclear agreement was in place or not. We were going to strike Iran regardless of whether or not that agreement was in place because they were lobbing missiles into Tel Aviv.
I don't know. I don't know if Harris would have done that given that Israel started it and bombed first, right?
So okay,
I just don't know if that same thing would be true, but I mean, obviously I wouldn't just I wouldn't deny that it's a possibility or that it likely could happen, especially because of the pro-Israel position from Democrats too. So I mean, I just don't see much of a distinction on this where it gets you much, what did the Biden-Harris administration do in terms of getting us involved in wars that Trump wouldn't have done?
Well, so wait, first let me respond to that. So I want to first agree with both you and your chat. I agree Israel started it, and so I'm not taking a pro-Israel position in that situation. What I'm saying is because of our relationship with Israel, for better or for worse, whatever you think our relationship is, if they're getting attacked, even if they started a war, we will go to their aid. We've done that multiple times throughout their history. The question is, and we're going to do that whether it's a Dem or a Republican in office, we will go to their aid, right? That's not something either of us has to like, but it's sort of just a reality given the geopolitical situation. The reason why I think Trump handled it well is the way in which he went to their aid was a bloodless strike that ended immediately with no long-term regime change war, which Nikki Haley and others were calling for, and ended pretty much as good as you could have hoped. That's why I think it was good. Not because I want to come to Israel's aid. Again, neither you nor I are pro-Israel, but I want to we have to live in the real world where no president that you could have voted for in 2024 was going to end the alliance we have with Israel. So you you know what I mean? You kind of have to play the game as your cards are dealt with regards to that issue.
Sure. I mean, I just, you'd have to tell me specifically. Here's, I guess, where our point would be is that I think that we would get onto a disagreement. What would be distinct specifically on behalf of, like with the Biden-Harris administration versus the Trump administration, say that if the Trump administration were in office when the Biden-Harris administration was, that we would have been in less conflict or war than we were otherwise?
So I think under Harris, or under Biden, I think that we would have done far more in that strike with Iran. I think we would have taken out more military targets or even potentially escalated to a regime change war. I don't think that's off the table.
I don't think you have any good basis for that. I think that's just kind of like you feel like it, not like it. You would have like any position on her, or like that she said that she would go into regime change. I mean, those things were floated under Trump as well, like the regime change and talking about all of those different things.
Sure.
So I don't really see you would have a basis in that position.
So it's a counterfactual, so it'd be very hard for me to get a basis on that. I would go off of just Harris's statements. She is overwhelmingly pro-Israel, and Donald Trump is, for lack of a better word, somewhat duplicitous. So although he says he's pro-Israel, I think he's more duplicitous about it than Kamala Harris is.
No, he says he's more pro-Israel than Kamala Harris. So
sorry.
if anything, you would think that Donald Trump would do more in what's defense of Israel, especially given that he's like allowing them to do a one-state solution right now. He's allowing them to like literally take Gaza and the West Bank. Kamala Harris didn't say that she would support that. Kamala Harris said she supported a two-state solution.
I mean, I know she said she supported one, and I think Biden did too, but Biden was also allowing them to sort of have a one-state thing. I don't know.
Wait, I don't know if Biden was allowing them to have a one-state, but like, I mean, I think that Biden and the Harris administration allowed them to go way too far. I think that, I believe that they were like helping them commit a genocide. I believe to that extent. But the point that I'm making is that I don't even think that they believed in a one-state solution. There was no indication that they do. And Donald Trump has indicated that he's okay with them doing that. And I know that that's a pretty big distinction based upon what they've said versus the other side said. So I have a lot better reason to believe this about, the one-state solution in terms of Trump versus Harris than you do, given that you have nothing that Harris said that would lead to like them doing regime change with Iran.
Right. I don't have anything Harris said. I am, I guess, treating her as an extension of Biden, given that she was his vice president. I assume she would extend his policies. And Israel did all of this during Biden's presidency.
No,
Sorry?
No, but they didn't do a one-state solution. They didn't announce a one-state solution.
Well, they didn't announce it, but they began the invasion and what you just called a genocide of Gaza during the Biden presidency with the full support of Joe Biden. So I am presuming that that Harris would extend Joe Biden's policy on that. I don't think that's an unreasonable. I don't need like a statement from her.
Yeah.
Unless she speaks out against her own president.
Wait,
I'm going
what
to
was
presume
Biden's
she will
policy?
follow her president.
I don't mean to cut you off. Just what was Biden's policy? Yeah.
His policy was to provide weapons and support to Israel, irrespective of what they did.
I don't know if it was irrespective. He definitely didn't say irrespective of what they did. They definitely were in support of a two-state solution, right? So, and Harris definitely made that clear that she was in support of a two-state solution. So that's distinct from this, and we can base that on like what they've said, right? That we have better reason to believe that than we do to believe that anything about the regime change. Those were just like random claims. I think that you don't have a basis for at all. We have a way better basis for this because Biden and Harris have both said this.
Sure. I mean, at the end of the day, I think a lot of foreign policy ends up being speculative counterfactuals where, I can't prove what would have happened if the other person was elected, right? But I can go off of what I've seen from them in the past and then speculate. But you're right, I'm being speculative. So, I'm not debating that, or I'm not disputing that point. I just think based on how Biden was, I assume Harris would be additional years of that. And Donald Trump is not 100% better, but I'm purely going off a lesser of the two evils analysis. I'm not like a Maga cultist or anything. I'm just, I do think he's the better choice.
Well, I guess my point was that we haven't seen anything from the past to speculate that about regime change in terms of Harris and Biden. There wasn't anything about their policy that indicated that they would do that. So especially anything different from what Trump's was. And, that actually you do bring up a good point. Like, I do think that that's like actually kind of like a good reason why we shouldn't use foreign politics in typical to demonstrate like who we vote for, because it typically is based upon speculation. Right. In this situation, we don't really have any indication of what they would have done otherwise. It's kind of like, for example, with Afghanistan, right? With the pullout with Afghanistan. what would the candidates done differently that would have led to less people dying there? A lot of people claim that there would have been less people that died if Trump were in office. Well, we can't really point to anything Trump would have done differently that would have led to that happening. You know, like then you can't really make a determination based upon that you know he's a better candidate, right? That seems like a very weak way to do so.
Yeah, but I agree with you that it is difficult, but at the same time, to not consider foreign policy when assessing what candidate's better is to leave out one of the most important jobs the president has. So we've got to do something on that, right?
That's not what I was saying. I wasn't saying to totally rule out foreign policy. I'm just saying it's not like a basis or a foundation for why you support one way or the other, but it could be very important in terms of the way you view things in general. And there could be certain things about foreign politics that you have enough reason to believe these things about. But like I'm saying, with the disagreements that we have, it seems like it gets boiled down to just a sort of like a speculative, like not really based in evidence position. And it's kind of just like we kind of feel differently on the matter. So I feel like that's not like a basis for why you would want to argue or debate why you support Trump. It seems like you might have better like luck trying to debate something else, because it really wouldn't get us anywhere to debate this, is kind of like my points.
Sure. I mean, yeah, we can move on to a different point then, because I do see your point. Although, because I just want, war is probably my biggest issue. Then after that, I would have crime is probably my next highest issue.
This might be a more interesting conversation. Okay, so in terms of crime, why do you say that crime is a big issue, but then you're supporting a convicted criminal held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman who pardoned violent rioters who beat police officers on January 6th, who were convicted of it and admitted to it themselves?
Right. So Donald Trump as a person is not like my friend or someone I like. I'm purely going off policy for this. And so multiple things. One, I would not consider the January 6 pardons to be a policy in the sense of policy issues, right? That's a one-time action for a very weird specific situation. I care more about long-term policies, crime bills, and then also the general culture that trickles down from the presidency to the state levels, since most crime is a state level issue. But the president does sort of set a cultural tone for that, right? Because they have the DOJ, the FBI, and they can affect a lot of things through state grants. But yeah, I mean, Donald Trump's personal life, I think he is an abhorrent human being as an individual. He's an adulterer. I mean, all these, I mean, I am not going to defend Donald Trump as a person. It's just, who do I want as president, not who do I want watching my kids.
Yeah, but doesn't that set a cultural tone for their society? If there's a convicted criminal being our president, doesn't that set a cultural tone that we're more accepting of criminals? Or the pardoning of violent rioters?
I mean,
you can say it's not a policy. I don't think that gets you around the idea that that's something that he did that would set the cultural tone of the nation to be more accepting of violent crime, especially in the inciting of a violent insurrection.
Well, I think January 6th is an interesting case because it's not a standard violent crime. I mean, it's violent in the sense that Lexington and Concord were violent, right? They're not crime in the traditional sense of I'm going to go rob a bank. You said insurrection, right? That's when people are almost rebelling against the government to try to overthrow it. That moves beyond crime. That's more of a political action, in the same way that you can say technically Martin Luther King committed several crimes, right? But the crimes were in relation to a civil rights movement, so you would be kind of insane to count that as a crime. Now, the January 6 people were doing things that were illegal, but they did have a legitimate civil rights basis. They believed the election was stolen. And you and I we can disagree with them over whether the election was stolen. But if you genuinely believe that an election was stolen and that you no longer live in a democracy, I do think that insurrection is a valid response. That's what our founding fathers did.
Yeah, but if you believe that they have an illegitimate basis for believing the election is stolen, and then they assault police officers and try to overturn the government, you'd believe that they don't have a right or just reason to do that. So, I mean, we would view these as crimes. Just because something's a political action doesn't mean it's not a crime. And also, again, were there violent crimes that Martin Luther King Jr. committed? And then, was pardoned by the president?
He wasn't pardoned, but he did commit violent crimes. But I don't think that undermines his message, right?
I mean, we're not making him president, though. What violent crime did he commit?
Domestic violence.
Okay. I mean, was he convicted of that?
I'm 90% sure he was. At the very least, the police had a file on it, and they tried to use it against him.
Could you give me a source on that? Because I haven't seen this.
Yellow, I'd have to go check. Are you familiar with the letter Hoover sent to King to try to blackmail him into unaliving himself? Do you know about that?
I'm not as familiar now.
Okay, so essentially, whether they brought it to prosecution or not, Hoover got a bunch of blackmail on King and then tried to send him a letter to unalive himself because he wanted to stop the civil rights movement, because that's a very J. Edgar Hoover sort of thing to do. But Yeah, but I guess my whole point is I'm not attacking King. I'm saying individuals can have specific acts of violence and it doesn't undermine their credibility on like other issues.
I think it does. I think it does undermine credibility. But like, I mean, there's no conviction I see.
So yeah, I'm saying it may not have been a conviction, but it may have been like he still did the crime and then it was used against him in a more illegitimate way than if they had convicted him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if we could find a conviction, maybe you could find a point there, but like we're still talking about the president pardoning them. Like, so let's talk about it this way. So Donald Trump pardons violent rioters who beat police officers. That to me tells me he condones the violence, that he's okay with it happening. Okay? And he also told them to go fight like hell and to take back the country from those that stole it from him. And he himself believed the election was stolen with no basis in evidence. So that's him inciting a violent insurrection to me. I don't think you have plausible deniability because he did pardon the violence. I actually, prior to the point in which there was, prior to him pardoning the violent rioters, I actually didn't run this argument because I didn't think that there was good enough reason to establish that he had, he like essentially wanted the violence because he also said peacefully. I think that was contradicted by him pardoning the violent rioters.
Yeah, and I'm not denying that. I think my point is almost talking past you at this point, because what I'm saying is, yes, there was violence. Yes, he pardoned it. It's not crime in the traditional sense because they're not just like doing random crime for self-benefit. It's crime in the technical sense, in the way that the like Revolutionary War was a crime, right? In the way that Lexington and Concord are technically crimes. They're assaulting peace officers, right? They're assaulting the lawful government of the time, but they're doing so in an insurrection-y sense. So I don't consider that relevant to a crime discussion.
But like, you think that they have, you think that they have a legitimate reason for that? If they don't have a legitimate reason, then that's wrong.
Well, I think they did have a legitimate reason. They believe the election was stolen and that they no longer live in a democracy.
That's
I mean,
not
that's the most legitimate reason.
You agree that the election was not stolen.
I would consider myself agnostic on that issue. There's a lot of shady things, but I don't think it hits the burden of proof level where I would need it to be to say it was stolen. So I don't say it was stolen because I don't think the proof is there, but it's certainly shady, and I don't think they were out in left field on the situation.
They definitely were. That was proven by 60-plus courts. I mean, many of them had Trump-appointed judges and Republican-appointed judges, so they were definitely off. They had no basis in evidence, no basis in reason, and also like the idea that like, okay, so like if I claim the 2024 election was stolen, and then I like go and assault a police officer trying to take over the Capitol, would you not think that's bad or something? And like the Democrats pardoned me? Would you not think I did something bad? Would you not think that's disqualifying for those Democrats to have pardoned me?
Well, I mean, it would depend. Are you doing it just because you want an excuse to assault a police officer, or are you doing it because you're part of an actual political movement?
I actually wanted to take back. I
actually
wanted to overturn the government.
I mean, if you think you're just going to solo overturn the government, you're going to get arrested, and if you don't have any support backing you up,
no. Let's say
it's going to be ineffective.
Let's say liberals did the same thing on January 6th, but they wanted to overturn this is January 6th, 2025. They do the same thing. Would you say that's justified? Would you say you could overlook that? Or like that, like if the Democrats pardoned that, it wouldn't be something to like bring up as a reason as to like why they incited a violent insurrection and under the Constitution are now not even able to run for president, given that we agree that they've done that?
I mean, honestly, I'm not hyper-partisan. If the Democrats had a good faith basis to think the election was stolen, and some of them went and did this right, I don't think that it's. I mean, I almost analogize that to the Black Lives Matter protests, where I think Obama and Biden do. I mean, yeah, because you're inciting riots and protests. You're assaulting police officers.
Did they pardon any of the violent rioters?
No, but if they had, I wouldn't have blamed them.
What? Oh, come on. I'm sorry. Like, if I was on live and they pardoned violent rioters, I would still be hearing about this today. I'd be hearing about this all the time. We would have never heard the end of that. Would. I promise you.
Of course you would, because MAGA people would never let you hear the end of it because they're not ideologically consistent half the time. But I genuinely do think there is something different between like I'm breaking into your store to steal money out of your cash register and I'm doing this action because I believe I'm making society better. Those are fundamentally categorically different things.
So to clarify, like if a presidential candidate incites a violent insurrection at the Capitol, you don't think?
No, and I really don't think it was incited. I mean, I think you're using the word incite based on retroactive. So what words at the time? So just fight like hell. Is that what
fight
you're
like
basing
hell
the
and take back
off
the country from those that stole it from you, alongside the pardoning of the violent rioters. Like he clearly wanted the violence.
Do you think if he wasn't the president, so if he wasn't the president and he gave that speech, do you think he would be criminally liable for like incitement to violence? Because I would hold him to the same standard.
regardless of whether or not he's president, I would hold him accountable for that. Because again, he then got into the position and then pardoned it. If, say he wanted the violence, but he wasn't into a position to pardon it, I would still say that he incited a violent insurrection at the Capitol, right?
Okay, so
Because
I'm going to ask you this
the pardon
respectfully, but it's a very...
demonstrates that he wanted it. Does that make sense?
So but that's retroactive. So you can't use something he did later to say whether it was incitement at the time. So you can use it as circumstantial evidence of state of mind. I agree.
Wait, you might not say that this would be applicable in a court system, but from a reasonable standpoint, from person to person, I can retroactively say that is a reason as to why he was okay with the violence. That's totally legitimate.
Sure,
that makes sense to me. That makes so much sense to me.
Okay,
you don't accept that reasoning?
No. Here's what I accept. I accept him pardoning it later is circumstantial evidence of his state of mind at the time that he was okay with it. But whether his actions are in fact incitement, I think is going to come down to what he does and says at the time. So I guess I would discuss that with you and to ask you a Barry Parker-like question. What is the legal standard for incitement?
Well, I don't. I'd have to look at the legal standard. I'm not qualifying mine based on the legal standard. That's my. My argument isn't the legal standard because we haven't had like a criminal case where that's gone through. My standard is not the legal standard. I'm saying that like how I think the law should work. It would grant that this is a violent insurrection and incitement of it. And the reason why I think it's incitement is because essentially the only condition we needed to be true, based upon everything else I've already said, was that he wanted the violence to occur. That's the only distinction that I needed, right? Alongside him saying fight like hell and to take back the country from those that stole it from him. And also took like literally hours to get the National Guard, right, to go there. Right? That was also like indicative of like that could increase the likelihood of, him wanting the violence, but it wasn't, concrete in saying that he incited it. The reason why I'm so concrete in saying that he incited it is because of the pardoning, because that demonstrates a state of mind that he was okay with the violence on that day.
Okay, setting aside the legal definition, when you use the word incite, like what is your definition of incite? Are you just saying he wanted the thing to happen? That's incitement, or?
It would be him wanting it and him doing things specifically to incentivize them to go and do it. So like he told them to go fight like hell. He told them to take back the country from those that stole it from him. Told them the exact set of conditions of what to do, like what he wanted them to do, and then also wanted the violence on that day. So it was an uprising. And he wanted an uprising, and he also wanted the violence. So I think that state of mind demonstrates what he wanted, and then based upon the things that he said to them, he definitely then incited it under my eyes. Like, he meet the set of criteria.
Okay. And then you repeatedly refer to this like assaulting a police officer. How many police officers were assaulted that day?
There were 150 officers with injuries.
With injuries?
Yes.
Can you provide me any source? Because that seems a little high. I know it's more than one, but 150 is a lot.
Yeah, I know it is. It is a lot. I would ask for a source too, so I don't mind. 150 police officers injured. Jan 6. According to the GAO.
And when we say injury, are we talking like these like very minor like
injuries? Or here, let me just clarify. Let me clarify. How I might be actually wrong. Maybe I misread this. Many police were injured on January 6th. 140. My bad.
Okay. And when we're talking injuries, are we talking like standard police officer injuries, like my hand hurt from punching someone? Because they do count that.
I'd have to look at the context. I have it on PolitiFact if you'd like. How many died as a result of the Capitol riot is the title.
How many died?
That's just the title.
Oh, okay. Is the number for that like 2, right?
Actually, they don't. Yeah, because I mean we're talking about people who unalived themselves after, and I don't know if it's 2. I think it's more than that, but I'd have to check. Here's a CBS News article. It talks about the 150. In total, more than 150 officers were injured in the attack. 86 officers reported injuries, the sources said, along with 65 members of the Metropolitan Police. It takes into account officers sustained injuries, and they did not, even more sustained injuries they didn't bother to report, including scratches, bruises, eyes burned from chemical spray. Yeah, like I don't see any reason to believe that it's just like people like punching themselves or something, like, or self-inflicted injuries. Maybe here I could look up how many police were injured based upon self-inflicted injuries?
Not necessarily self-inflicted. I just mean meaningful injuries as opposed to like I have a little scratch on my arm or something, right? From like wrestling someone to the ground. Because routinely what will, and I know I'm going to sound like a leftist for this, but routinely what will happen is when police officers tackle or aggressively arrest someone, they themselves will get injured during the arrest, and that will be charged toward the defendant who's being accused of like assaulting a police officer or resisting with violence. So I'm curious how much of that's going on here.
Sure, I'd have to
and
look
I'm sure
at
they're
the
gonna have
individual
that.
cases. That would take too much for me to be able to do that right now. In terms of being able to find that information, I can give you certain cases where Donald Trump pardoned people where you would disagree with what they did. Like, for example, DJ Rodriguez driving a stun gun into the neck of a police officer. That's like him pardoning that is insane, right? That's
Yeah, no, and absolutely. I think actually almost all of Trump's pardons are insane. Didn't he like pardon Kodak, right? He pardoned like random people for no reason to try to get political value, right? But again, pardons are like one-off random
very, like,
things.
anti-crime.
I still care more about criminal policy. Well, yeah, but it's not.
Here, can I give us a point of agreement? I care about limiting crime in
Sure.
our country. I think that's a really important thing. So like I'm not like saying that like this is not important. I think that's an incredibly important thing. But like I do think that the Trump administration is significantly worse for like limiting crime in terms of it occurring, especially crime that I care about. Because I'm not just talking about like, you know,
Other
people
than-
jaywalking or like, you know, coming to the country undocumented when they haven't committed a violent crime or bad crime. I truly don't give a shit about that. I know other people do. Trump supporters think differently on that. I don't give a shit about that. The type of crime that I care about is like what's the threat to people's safety and security, right? Like people are committing violent crimes.
So other than January 6th and other than crimes personally committed by Donald Trump, do you have an example of like a policy?
Anything from what I said? Because I tried to respond, but it just immediately cut out. It's not on YouTube though. YouTube crashed.
Yeah, it cut out and then chat freaked out and they thought something bad happened.
Damn it, I'm so annoyed. That is so fucking annoying, dude. Like, why does that have to happen?
It's probably my Russian
so
handler
annoyed
doing this.
right now. I'm so annoyed right now just because my YouTube is completely off now. I need to figure out my internet real quick. I apologize that this happened just mid conversation.
No, it's all good.
I'll make sure to bring you up if I had to restart or anything. I don't think I'll have to. What the fuck is going on, dude? Why did it do that? That's so frustrating, dude. Here, I need to hit it's just on my, maybe if I just hit a restart on my YouTube,
I'll put a call into Donald, see if he can help it.
Yeah, I know. That was some Trump mobile right there. I must have accidentally got put on their servers. Fuck, dude. Okay, it's not even loading. One second. Why did it just do that? I'm so pissed off right now, dude. Bro, that's so annoying because it makes me restart the stuff for YouTube. Oh, it's so annoying because it takes like an hour or two just to build it back up to what it was. Sorry, here you can restart from where you were. I don't know why the internet just cut out. I apologize.
So, okay, so I think my question was, other than crimes personally committed by Trump and then the pardons, is there like a policy that he has that you think is bad for crime? Because I think his policies are generally good for crime, other than the crimes he's personally committed and pardoning.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there causes like more conflicts, particularly at protests when he sends the National Guard there, or him trying to send a National Guard to places that people don't want that. I think it's worse off in terms of crime, specifically in terms of his policy. We can point to like the bills that he passes, how it is going to increase the likelihood of there being people in situations in which they have, you know, lesser income, right? Or is the case that they're doing worse off, increase the likelihood of poverty, like those types of things, like undermining or actually, how about this? We could give even a comparison of like what would be true in terms of the child tax credit policy, reducing poverty versus it not being as high under the Trump administration. So given that there's a higher child tax credit, there would be a reduction in poverty, which could obviously impact the level of crime as well. And like also in terms of what you said earlier, I don't think you can just overlook, you know, things like a violent insurrection or his character, as those have huge impacts in terms of like how the culture views crime and like what's accepted in terms of crime, culturally speaking.
So I mean, I agree, but I also think
And
that
I
it's
actually
a
have one
far
more
worse
thing.
effect
I
when
actually
you
have
have.
one more thing as
Oh,
well.
sorry.
Can I say that?
Oh, go for it.
I do think that his policy and not prioritizing, people who are deporting people who haven't committed or who have committed violent crimes and bad crimes, because typically Democrats do have a prioritization on that. And he's actually like deported more people disproportionately who haven't committed violent crimes or bad crimes or without any prior criminal charges prior to like coming to the country undocumented, which is a misdemeanor. So like I think that actually increases the likelihood that there will be crime because it gets law enforcement to be focused on people who haven't committed crimes or aren't a threat to our safety and security rather than being focused on that, if that makes sense.
Okay, I'll address the last one first because I think that's the easiest. The last point doesn't really apply because law enforcement that goes after like crimes you and I care about, like, burglaries, robberies, etc., that is not the same kind of law enforcement that goes after immigration. ICE, right, which is going after all these deportations, would not otherwise have been spending its time like investigating the crimes you and I care about. So moving them and shifting their priorities to deportations won't affect that. It will just reduce crime though, because although I know you said he's deporting people who don't commit violent crimes, he is also increasing the rate at which he's deporting violent criminals too, or just criminals in general. I never really like the idea of like violent crimes as a criteria because there's plenty of non-violent crimes that are still like truly awful. Like burglary is a non-violent crime.
Sure.
I still really don't want people breaking into my house. So deporting people who've committed any crime other than merely the crime of unlawful entry, I still think does reduce crime, and he's doing more of that at a higher level than
not crimes that I would care about. And what I was essentially saying is that ICE focusing on, obviously I don't think like ICE should exist. I think that law enforcement in terms of the border focusing on deporting people who have not committed violent crimes or crimes that we consider bad, right? Reduces the ability that they can spend time on doing that. Like we're putting resources and money into that when we could be putting resources and money into deporting people to a greater extent who have committed these violent crimes or bad crimes that people care about. So it's the type of resources because the resources are being allocated from somewhere.
Well, they're being allocated from other functions of ICE, but also they're just being increased spending, right? The big beautiful bill or whatever he calls it is an increase in ICE funding so that we can hire more ICE agents to do more and faster deportations, which will result in an absolute number increase of criminals being deported and also non-criminals. And I know you're looking at rates because I've heard you make this argument before of like the crime rate doesn't go down, but I don't actually care about the crime rate, right? I care about the absolute number of crimes in my neighborhood. Like, right, hold on. Like, right, because I don't actually care if percentage-wise the same percent of people in my community are committing crimes. If there are fewer crimes committed, I am still better off as an individual, right? So this is one of the rare situations where per capita and rate actually isn't as applicable because I care how many homicides are there within a 3-block radius of where my kids are, right? You know what I mean?
Okay, so I mean, although you do care about how many are happening in some instances, I think that you care more about the rate. And the reason why I'll say that is because the absolute level of crime increases with tourism. The absolute level of crime increases with people having more children, right? That doesn't mean that like we're worse off because of that.
Well, I think that's somewhat disingenuous. Do you think the absolute amount of crime increasing with tourism, because the absolute amount of crime increasing with tourism is so de minimis, right? Like actual legitimate tourists are not coming here and like committing crime. Now, fake tourists are, so people who abuse like the ESTA visa program, like Chile was doing for a while,
Yeah, and
they would use the
immigrants
90-day ESTA
coming to the
visa to come
country
do
aren't either.
burglaries.
And actual immigrants coming to the country
Well,
aren't committing these types of violent crimes and bad crimes either.
That's simply not true. No, plenty of undocumented people are committing crimes and getting deported for it. That's a very routine occurrence. Not really at a low
you say
rate.
It's
what do you mean by
routine, but it's less routine than natural born U.S. citizens, apparently.
Well, that's a misleading stat. It depends what part of the country you're in, right? So like in the part of the country I'm in, which is Southern California, undocumented people actually commit a disproportionately higher amount of crime.
Okay,
so it really depends
a single
on
source that indicates that undocumented immigrants commit a higher rate of crime, because we're talking about per capita rates.
Right. I mean, so I'm on my phone, so I can't give you it right now. I'm actually going more off my personal experiences and just my own like day-to-day life.
I live in LA. That's not a good explanation. Come on, that's ridiculous. My personal experience is definitely.
Well, you live in LA, so it'll be higher. It'll be higher for natural-born citizens in LA because you have like Crips and Bloods and like a lot of gang crime, right? So that's usually natural-born citizen.
But one, I'm not going to be around that. I don't know what you're talking about in terms of like if we have an anecdotal explanation, that's not what I'm going to be around. Secondly, if you want to talk about like anywhere around LA too, I'm very commonly around LA and other parts of California as well, and my experiences in that as well. So like, I mean, I don't think that anecdotes are a good explanation for this. I can give you time to go look it up if you would like. Like you can go look it up. I just won't be able to hear you while you're out of the app. So I can talk to someone else or talk to the chat or whatnot until you get back. But you'd have to come back like every minute and 30 seconds just to see me and then go back out so it doesn't kick you. But if it does, I can just add you back as well.
That honestly seems like a hassle. So I'll just concede the point that there's unlikely to be a professional study done that will compare crime rates for natural-born citizens versus undocumented in a way that is favorable to my point. So I can stipulate that and move on from that.
I do have a bibliography in my bio, though, that shows multiple different sources that indicate that immigrants commit lower rates of violent crime, drug crime, and property crime than natural-born U.S. citizens. But you also didn't like make a specific point specifically about like L.A. Like I really wonder what you saw. Like I'm serious. I don't think you really have a.
Well, so I live in Orange County, right? So I'm actually relatively close to you. So in I mean, I've been to Los Angeles a bunch. L.A. really does have a gang problem that's out of control. It's actually somewhat bad in Orange County, but it is far worse in Los Angeles. But like, wait, what was your exact question? What did I see?
Yeah, like, so you're saying in Orange County. Orange County is run by conservatives. So your experience in Orange County must be, due to conservative policy then, right?
No, because it's due to state policy. Crime is governed at the state level. Like our district attorney is a relatively conservative person, but like the laws that we are enforcing and the sentencing structures in California are all the.
No, it's not just there's local jurisdiction for what they enforce as well.
Not really. So there's like local county ordinances for low-level misdemeanors, like having an open container, but that's not at all what either of us are talking about. Every single felony is completely governed by the state. And while a district attorney may have some discretion on how to charge those felonies, we're still limited by what the state is able to actually allow us to do. Like, for example, like the 3 strikes policy, right? So the voters vote for 3 strikes laws. And then the state has passed several laws to sort of gut that so that even if someone has committed a 3rd serious and violent felony, they're not going to get life. And that's something that Orange County can't directly control. We can't pass an Orange County ordinance that says in Orange County, a 3rd striker who's done a 3rd serious and violent crime will get life. The progressives who run our state have decided that that's not how the law is going to work.
Wait, sorry. What was the specific circumstance? I was trying to look at like Orange County charters to indicate.
So the specific circumstance, what I'm saying is any sort of like local municipality law or county law is only ever going to be a very low level misdemeanor in the county municipal code. It's not going to be affecting any crime you and I are talking about. Stuff that we care about, like robbery, is a state crime. And if someone commits 3 robberies over 3 different periods of time, the state law says that robber should go away for 25 to life. That's the 3 strikes law. That's what the voters have passed. That's direct democracy. The progressive state legislature we have has specifically gone in and gutted that law and removed the mandatory 3 strike sentencing, even if all 3 crimes are serious and violent felonies.
I mean, I could disagree with any specific press of just terminations within California. I don't think that's like demonstrating of like all progressives overall, or of like what the view would be. And you don't have to like categorize all progressives of that. Like that's not the specific policies that we'd be voting on here.
Okay, I guess let me ask you: do you agree with that position? I'll just go with you.
I disagree with that position for sure. Like, given that, like, I think that any violent crimes or anything else like that definitely should be what's it called? Should be like leading to like long term, like them not being around people. I'm pretty, like, I do think that like a 3 strike law in terms of having like violent crimes associated with it would be like important, given that it doesn't have like a negative impact in terms of any broader conditions. Like, what would be the reason why they said so?
What would be the reason why they don't make the 3rd strike a mandatory 25 to life?
What was the claim that they made for that? Yeah, because I don't think that's justified.
The claim that they made was just standard. We want to believe in rehabilitation. We don't think someone should go to prison for life because of their 3rd crime, and we want to like increase the amount of discretion that judges have by not mandating these heavier sentences. I mean, that's their reasoning. I obviously disagree with it, but that was their reasoning.
Well, a rehabilitation would be like through the funding of certain rehabilitation programs. Right.
And those programs certainly exist in prison.
People wouldn't just claim there's rehabilitation by claiming that, they've been in prison, therefore they've rehabilitated, right? That's not the conditions of rehabilitation that, progressives advocate for, right?
Right. So, I mean, what the disconnect is progressives want rehabilitative programs, and we have similar programs like that. But I think what it comes down to is some people just do not wish to be
people are saying that non-violent crimes also count as the 3rd strike. So it would obviously depend on what.
No, that's actually not correct anymore. That used to be the case. So it used to be the case that any 3rd felony would get you struck out. But it was, I want to say Prop 63 was passed that only a serious and violent felony will count as your 3rd strike. So it has to be something like criminal threats to unalive someone or assault with a deadly weapon or something like that. That will be required for a third strike.
Okay. So I mean, I would have to look at the conditions for that. Obviously, like I believe that like if it is the case that it's referencing violent crimes or crimes that we would consider to be bad in that context, like obviously like I don't want people who are going to be out around like doing that. If you'd like to provide a source, I would love for you to do so, but I feel like you're just going to say I don't want to do that and like I don't feel like it. But then like I feel like that gets us for what we were just talking about in terms of the 3 strike laws.
So I can provide, no, I'll absolutely, for that one, I can provide a source easily. I don't have to like Google anything. So which specific claim about 3 strikes do you want a source for? I can just tell you.
Everything you just said. Like you just said specifically that the 3rd strike doesn't have to be a violent or serious offense.
Okay, sure. So, I mean, you're going to have to Google some nerdy stuff here, but if you're okay with that, California's 3 strikes law is governed by Penal Code Section 1192.7 and 667A.
Well,
and then Penal Code Section...
How about you give me, like, the specifics, maybe a media company reporting on it, or give me certain specifics. Don't just say that, like, there is a legal code. Because, like, that doesn't tell me that, like, you've seen the specific legal code that says this. Like, I don't think
so if you will know, off the top of your head. Well, I'm a criminal prosecutor, if that helps me be more credible. Penal Code Section 667A, if you Google that, will have the direct law, which is the most possible primary source. I mean, it's not a news article. It's the literal state of the law. So California Penal Code 667A.
And what does it say?
That's why I said it'd be nerdy. So it's going to list all the crimes that are strikes, and then it's going to say on 667.5, it'll say if someone has 2 strike priors and they've committed another strike as their crime, then they are up for a mandatory sentence of 25 to life. And then judges can strike or ignore, essentially dismiss the strike prior. That is Penal Code Section 1385, which is a different section of the code that the legislature passed.
Okay, so where within this, so 6675, I'm on it right now. This is current as of 2024.
I'm just pulling it up so I can give you the subsection. I'll go find it.
Give them a second, ever. In the meantime, if you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. It'll help get it out to more people. This would be really interesting to say, like, I mean, a criminal prosecutor votes for a convicted criminal. That's pretty interesting.
You would be surprised. Let me just tell you. Even in Los Angeles, go to Mr. Hochman's office in Los Angeles and see how many of his prosecutors likely voted that way. But so go Control F on the page for just 25, and that'll pop you down. But it should be subdivision D has some relevant portions.
I can hear you when you're out of the app, just letting you know that.
So I don't see anything subdivision E2. Subdivision E2? Yeah,
I'm looking at it right now.
Where it's got the 25 to life section, and it requires as a condition in there that they've convicted of a strike for the 3rd offense.
Wait, maybe we're not on the same thing. Is it California Penal Code 6675?
667.
667, not 5?
Correct. 667 subdivision E.
667 subdivision E. Alrighty.
I love the people in chat who say I'm not a prosecutor, like I'm just some nerd who just knows this for no reason.
D subdivision E for purposes of subdivisions and inclusive. Addition to the enhancements of provision. If a defendant has one or more prior serious or violent felony convictions.
So send then subparagraph 2
if
under
a
that
defendant
E.
has one or prior serious or violent felony convictions as defined in division D that has pled and has been proved, the determinate term or minimum term for an indeterminate term shall be twice the term otherwise provided as punishment for the current felony conviction.
So that's if you have 1 strike prior, and then subdivision 2 underneath that says if you have 2 strike priors. And because E is applying to when you are convicted of a strike, right? So this is all under the section of you've been convicted of a strike. If you have 1 prior, 1 applies. If you have 2 prior, 2 applies. So,
Okay.
but the whole point
if
is it
defendant
only
has one
applies
prior
if,
serious conviction as defined in subdivision D, has it have been pled or twice the term otherwise. And then wait, so then what is the point you dispute about this?
no. Your people in your chat are saying that you can get sent to like 25 to life for a non-strike, and I'm saying no. Look, here's the law. It says it has to be a strike. So if you have 2 prior strikes and your new offense is
We
a
weren't
strike,
saying for a
you get
non-strike. They were
25
saying you were saying that it didn't have to be a violent or serious. If they had one, you said if they had a violent or serious felony conviction, that they would just be able to get out. That's essentially what you were arguing, right?
Yes.
That's
And
not
so
what this says,
that's
though.
the 3
It
strikes
says if
law,
you
though.
have the one or
Right.
violent serious felony conviction, that it doubles the time, right? And then if it is the case that you have another one, it's imprisonment in the state of prison for 25 years.
Right. So that's,
what are you talking
that was
about?
because, right. So because this is in response to you saying that, do you have a source that says it has to be a strike for the 25 to life to kick in? The part that says that the judges can ignore that is what I was saying earlier. That's 1385, which is a different section.
But like,
I was being
were
told by
saying it was
you and
the
chat.
3 strikes, right? So if they have 3 strikes, you
Mhm.
said that if one of them weren't, right, they were able to get away, right? Which was not true. It was double their time specifically for all of them, right? So, and then for
What?
the other...
No.
Go ahead.
If I'm saying if they have 2 strike priors, meaning before the current crime, they've committed 2 strikes and then they commit another strike, then they are eligible for 25 to life. If they commit a crime that's not a strike, then they're not going to get 25 to life. Like, as in to say, you're not going to get 25 to life for like stealing a pack of gum, which is like the mythical story that like a lot of progressives like to talk about. Like, no one should go to prison forever for stealing a pack of gum. And I'm just saying that's not how the law works.
Yeah, if someone steals a pack of gum, do you think they should go to prison?
Well, not for life. No, of course not. Like, that's the whole point. That's not the law.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. I'm confused though. Like, I mean, obviously, like, I don't know the certain conditions of the law in each of these respects. You probably would know more than me, given that you're a criminal defense attorney. So I'd have to ask you specifically what are the current aspects of law, and what I would agree with, what I disagree with, would be obviously relevant.
So the
to
current
that.
aspect. Sure. So it's easier if instead of reading the penal code, I can just tell you the law, and
it,
then
but like
part
you're
you
not
don't
telling me
believe.
what part of the penal code you
Okay.
disagree with. That you said that's
The penal
criminal.
sure.
And by the way, this is the comparison. We're not even talking about Kamala Harris. We're not even talking about Joe Biden. We're not talking about anything relating to
Sure.
Donald Trump in terms of his policies.
If
We're
you'd like,
talking
we can
about
go back to higher level
progressives-
macro
Let me
stuff.
clarify. We're talking about progressives in areas in California that have certain policies. So just progressives in California is one not representative of the rest of the Democratic Party. So if I disagree with certain progressives, you can't demonstrate that this is like the Democratic Party, right, as overall is like, pro-crime. Like that doesn't justify your point at all.
This is I mean, so it kind of does though, because I'm about to hit you with who's the Attorney General of California though, like before the current one.
You would say Kamala Harris, but that doesn't mean that she did this law.
Yeah.
What was the law when
But
Kamala Harris
it's
was in
Kamala
office?
Harris.
What was the law when Kamala Harris
Right.
was in office? This is the law now, well after.
No, it's the law now, but it was also the law when she was in office.
Okay, wait, can you give me a source on that?
That like what date? I mean, so on the page you were on, you can just scroll up and you can look to see when the law was enacted. It was, and then compare that to
2024.
the years Kamala was in office.
It says 2024.
Okay, well, yeah, because it's updated every. Okay, so I guess this one, don't even go to the code. Just Google what year is the 3 strikes
Did the
law
Attorney
from?
General create all of the law?
No, but she's in favor of reducing the 3 strikes liability. You can find statements of her as Attorney
Wait, that's
General.
a second. Oh, wait, you were arguing that the law was this way because of her, right? Or that she wanted the
What?
law.
No. I'm saying she wants the law to be softer than it is, right? So
In what way?
Let me just give you my
what
syllogism.
specific
Make it
policy
easier.
does Kamala Harris support that wanted the law to be to be more soft? I mean,
She talks constantly about how we need to end mass incarceration and that the 3 strikes law is overly harsh. That is the specific issue I have with her.
Wait,
She did that as
what-
Attorney General in California.
okay, wait, that doesn't mean that she ran on that as president, right? Secondly, as it relates to this.
Okay, I don't care if she
say
runs
that
on it, it's still her position.
Wait, what was her position on the 3 strikes law?
So she thinks that it's mass incarceration and that she opposes it. She's constantly talking about mass incarceration as a problem.
So are you against like the drug war?
Am I against I don't like that we lost the drug war. I think drugs are destroying our communities and like ruining people's lives. I think
For
drugs are like
example,
the
do you
worst
think
thing
that
ever.
people should be in prison for M drug?
For what?
M drug.
M?
Yeah, I can't say it on the line because I'll get restricted. Like, don't say any of
Okay,
the
I'm
names.
just trying
of the
to do
specific
okay, I
ones
think I
because you'll
understand
get
the one you
taken
mean.
down. Yeah.
Okay. So do I think so this is where the distinction, I mean, now we're getting to more nuance. The user is someone who I believe is a victim, but the dealer is someone who I think we should probably do what Mao did.
wait, for M-drug?
For wait, okay, maybe we're
I'm
talking
about
about
leafy greens,
the crystalline
bro.
substance.
Leafy greens.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the white crystalline substance.
No.
Oh no, I don't
And
really care
even
about
then,
the
that's
grass. Now,
unhinged.
I mean, I'm not that mad about the grass. No, for the crystalline stuff and the powdery stuff.
Wait, but like, okay,
no,
so
dude,
when
like,
she's talking about
that's a problem.
when she's talking about mass incarceration, she's talking about the fact that there are different types of laws like this that specifically are putting people in prison without good reason. She's not saying people who have committed violent crimes and these horrible, atrocious crimes that they shouldn't be put in prison to longer extents. She literally ran on her campaign on putting those people behind bars and literally ran against one herself. You're literally, you supported a violent sex offender for president. You know that, right? You said we shouldn't talk about the character, but I mean, if you want to talk about Kamala Harris, you want to bring up Kamala Harris in terms of what she did, we can talk about that, but let's also talk about Donald Trump being a violent sex offender himself.
Sure. First, let me say, she's not talking about the leafy green. Leafy green stuff has not been something that gets you sent to prison in the state of California for decades. So when she was attorney general, she was not talking about that. Leafy greens haven't gotten you in prison for a long, long time. So, but the other drugs
that's what she was saying from a federal
in,
standpoint. She's been saying that since like the 2010s. She's been saying that about the federal
sure,
positions.
and I will agree. I will agree
she's
for
not
that.
Just talking
one.
about mass incarceration just in California. She was talking about mass incarceration around the entire United States.
Well, but when she was the attorney general, she was referring to California.
Okay, so what certain aspects was she disagreeing with? Was she saying that people who have committed violent crimes and these atrocious crimes, that they should have lesser penalties? Was she saying that?
Yeah. Yes, that's what I'm saying, because she doesn't think life... And now, I'm not saying she thinks they should walk free, but she does disagree with the 25 to life imprisonment, which I think is very important to protect our communities.
Where did she say that she disagrees with the 25 to life for people who have committed incredibly atrociously bad crimes?
She's described the 3 strikes law, which, as we've just established, is only for violent crimes. She's described that law as mass incarceration. That's why I'm bringing up that phrase.
That doesn't mean that her position on the matter is that she wants people who have committed those types of violent crimes on the street. You're misleading people when you say that. You know, right? She could totally agree with a certain policy, right? Maybe it's not that policy. Maybe it's constructed slightly differently, right? And it's specifically targeted towards people who have committed those types of crimes. It's just constructed in a different manner. So I think you're actually being incredibly misleading when you're acting like this is the only type of law that could exist, that could ever address that type of crime. Or that she was advocating that people have committed these violent sex crimes and violent crimes in general to be like let on the streets earlier. No claim has been justified for that. Even if she did say that it was mass incarceration due to the 3 strikes policy, she could agree with some other construction of the policy. That's not justifying that that's her position on the matter.
Do you genuinely think her position is she would like people in prison as long as the 3 strikes policy, or do she want them in prison for less time?
I would assume that she wants people
claim.
who have committed violent crimes and atrocious crimes such as that in prison for the rest of their life. But give me any evidence that she thinks that their sentences should be less. Not that she specifically disagrees with a certain construction of policy, but she specifically believes that people who have committed those types of sex offenses, he got firearms and dangerous policy. No. God damn it. I wanted to hyper fixate on that point. No, dude. God damn it. God damn it. Dude, why did everything go wrong in that conversation? Like, my fucking YouTube went down and didn't work. They kick him off for violent, like, firearms and stuff. Like, bro, let me make that. I was just getting to the point. Like, that is, I think, one of the most important points is that is not demonstrating that Kamala Harris's policy is that she wants people who have committed these atrocious crimes to, like, get out scot-free. You know what is telling you specifically that, like, people who have committed violent crimes and atrocious crimes that they should get out early is when Donald Trump pardons the violent rioters. That's explicitly a specific individual with a specific case where that's true, where they're letting them out. Whereas, like, say, if you support a difference in policy, it could be that she disagrees with elements of that policy and how it's enforced, but she still thinks people who have committed atrocious crimes and bad crimes like that should be in prison in the long run. Like, dude, I really wish I could have, you know, like, been able to run that point more. You know, I will give him, he's one of the more intellectual or intelligent people I've talked to who is a Trump supporter. I will give him that. I definitely think that is, like, completely wrong, though. And also, like, I feel like I could get him and convince him that, like, you know, Donald Trump, it makes us worse off in terms of crime. Because, like, if you care a lot about crime, I think he does care a lot about crime, that would definitely, like, I feel like sway his view. Like, cause like I feel like it's indefensible to say that Trump is better in terms of crime. Like, if we hyperfixate on like certain progressives you disagree with in terms of crime, sure, I think we'd probably both have disagreements with certain progressives on crime. Like, obviously, like, we'd have disagreements with everyone across the political spectrum on crime. But like that, I mean that's not necessarily relevant to like the general election, though. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
19. Hello?
How old are you?
19. Yeah.
What's your birth year?
2005.
And you're 19, what month?
October.
Okay. Why do you support Trump?
Is it okay if I ask you like questions about Democrat policies?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's your stance on like the COVID inflation?
Like, it was caused from global, it was global inflation. It was caused due to supply chain issues. Like, mainly.
So you don't think that the money printing had anything to do with it?
Sure. Yeah, it had some relevance, yeah.
So would that not be a negative for the Democrats? For like the massive inflation we experienced during Biden's
money
administration?
supply increased to a greater extent under the Trump administration. Plus, if you want to look at like policies that they passed to influence the increase in the money supply, that would be like debt-related spending, and Trump signed off on more debt-related spending.
Wait, that first one's really interesting. What how do you what do they measure, or like what's that metric for money supply?
M2 and M1, both of them indicate that it increased more under Trump.
Like the percent increased or the total amount was higher?
Total amount higher and percentage increase was higher.
Really?
Yeah.
What? I looked it up before this and it was like, I think it was in 2019, it was like 12 million. Or not million. The number was 12 something and then it was like 19 in 2021.
Are you M1 or M2? I'll pull it up right now.
M2. What's the difference?
There's just small differences in the graph. It's not really relevant for me to go over right now. But here, I'll pull up M2 on the graph right now. I'll literally show you. Chat, I don't know why my internet's like lagging a little bit for some people. I do really apologize for the lag. I'm so sorry. I'm really pissed off at how like it does that sometimes. It's so frustrating. Like, I really hate it. I wish it didn't. Okay, so here's when Trump got in office.
Mm-hmm.
Right about here in January. It's about 13,000. Trump leaves office and it is 19,000. Biden gets in office, it's 19,000. He leaves office and it's like 21,000. So that's like a 2,000 difference for Biden, and for Trump it's like a 6,000 difference. And it would be more for Trump than Biden because 6,000 is going to be more of 13,000 than 2,000 is going to be of 21. I mean of
yeah, but the highest peak was during Biden's administration, like in the middle.
That's
of it,
disingenuous.
on that
We're
graph.
talking about the level of increase.
Yeah, but why did he keep increasing it after?
What do you mean? Like, why did it keep it? Well,
Like, it
that's
was
not
already
him. He doesn't increase the money supply. Like, that's not Biden.
Well, is like the American Rescue Plan, for example, is that
Why
not
did they
a way
pass
of
policy? Because it is the case that the country needed things. Like, we needed stuff. So, what you want to compare the? I'll show you real quick. This is Trump and Biden. CFRB, and it will show you the distinction and the level of debt-related spending under each administration. Take a look at this. Oh. It's not loading. 1 second. There we are. Right here. There we are. Boom. You see it? See how it's more under Trump than it is under Biden? Like, by a significant amount. And, like, literally the non-COVID related spending of Trump, debt-related spending he signed into law, was to a greater extent under Biden. And something misleading a lot of people like Charlie Kirk bring up is that there were more debts incurred under the Biden-Harris administration than there were under the Trump administration. But that wasn't signed into law by the administration. This is a reference from the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, a nonpartisan committee from the federal government, of what they signed into law themselves.
So you're saying the inflation was bad because of supply chains, right?
Yeah, that's a big reason, main reason, yeah. Due to COVID, yeah.
And how do you track that?
Because of the effect, like, around the globe and what economists indicated to be true. Like, how do we track that? We track that based upon data, like, given that it happened around the world. We also track it based upon, like, how much we're producing as a society, right? We can identify that. And we can also see the price increase. If we see that demand has stayed around a similar amount, and it is the case that the price is increasing, we know from a theoretical standpoint, from an economic standpoint, that it's because supply has gone down. And it's also very intuitively obvious that supply would go down when we're staying at home, right? Or people are getting sick, or people are dying.
Yeah.
And, like, that affects supply chains that especially harm us in the long run, because those supply chains sometimes take a while to come back to the same degrees that they were prior.
Do you think that was worth it?
What was worth it?
Like the shutdowns and stuff. Like, what are your thoughts on the actual, like, lockdown policies and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the lockdowns were stringent enough where it would have done the effect that it did in a positive manner. I think that we should have done, I think that one thing that lockdowns did really good, and I mean, I'm not quite sure what we should have done necessarily. I'm not positive on that, but lockdowns to some degree, I think, gave us a little bit of a leeway for people got harmed until we got to the vaccine. This happened under Trump's administration, by the way, but I do lag. I'm so annoyed. Do you see me?
What?
Do you see me? Do you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can. You're still up.
Am I lagging? I might just hit a restart completely.
You're not lagging for me, really.
Okay.
So, what do you have to say about, like, the Biden's, like, mental state through his administration?
Are you leaving? Okay. Sorry. Sorry, what were you saying? Biden's mental states? I think that they were bad. I called for him to drop out.
Yeah, do you not see it as a problem that he was, like, the chosen candidate?
Okay. Hey, man, I'm sorry. My internet's so bad right now. It is me. I looked it up. It's totally me. I might just end my stream for today, man.
Oh, okay.
If you'd like to come up another day, just remind me.
Yeah, have a good night, Parker.
You. Like, if you're gonna be on tomorrow morning, I'll be on, like, super early tomorrow morning, like about 12 hours from now. I'll be live, 8 a.m. Pacific time. If you want to come in the morning, I'll debate you then.
Okay, have a good night, man.
You too. You too. Jaden said he would go live in the comment section. Everyone, so go look up Jaden LeBron in the comment section, or if on YouTube and stuff. I am gonna get off for tonight, everyone. I'm really sorry. If I hit a restart, I'd only get like an hour. So I mean, I feel kind of bad. It's just I don't know why it's lagging so bad. Like, I don't know why it randomly does that. Because if I have to restart, it's just gonna be horrible anyway. So I don't know. Go check out some of my YouTube videos. I'd really appreciate that, everyone. Thank you, everyone, so much for coming through tonight. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I will be on tomorrow. I will see everyone tomorrow. I love y'all so much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, y'all.